The Predators and Brigade get ready for round two. The fuse is lit as these
Central, 11:30 Eastern.
The Predators and Brigade get ready for round two. The fuse is lit as these two teams meet for the second time. Coach Gruden and Orlando have the hot hand, winning 5 of the last 6. When these two battled in Florida, Kansas City hung tough to the very end, actually taking the lead in the fourth quarter. Then Orlando became predatory with 2 late interceptions to seal the win. The rematch is coming into your living room next. Welcome to the place they call the Hangar, Kemper Arena in Kansas City. More than 15,000 strong on hand to watch this game featuring the Brigade of Kansas City and the Predators of Orlando. As you look at the Southern Division standings, Orlando with a lot to play for. A win tonight, they clinch the Southern Division. They also clinch a first-round bye. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong along with Jayce Pearson. So a lot at stake here for the Predators tonight, and they have been terrific, winning 5 of their last 6 games to get back in the playoff hunt. They are led by Joe Hamilton.
And Dave, Joe Hamilton is having a fine season, and when he plays well, this Orlando Predator team is awfully tough to beat. Throughout that 5-game winning streak, Joe Hamilton had 21 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions. But a couple of weeks ago, he got hurt his non-throwing shoulder, and last week it really bothered him. Threw a couple of big interceptions in their loss to Colorado.
We'll keep a close eye then on Joe Hamilton here tonight to see if he has returned to full health. If he has, this former Heisman Trophy candidate can be especially tough. Now for the Brigade, they made a quarterback switch mid-season. Andy Kelly out, Chris Sanders in.
Well, Dave, this is going to be Chris Sanders' 8th start for the Brigade. And since he's been in, he has really energized this offense, not only with his arm, where he has 35 touchdown passes, but also with his legs. His 12 rushing touchdowns is second in the league and first among all quarterbacks. And over the last 4 weeks, this Brigade offense, Dave, has averaged over 52 points a game, a huge improvement.
No question. And over those last 4 games, the Brigade at 2-2. So the Predators come in knowing a lot at stake. They can clinch that first-round bye in the playoffs. They hope to celebrate. Meanwhile, Kansas City wants to put on a show for their faithful hometown fans. And if they can really play the spoiler here tonight. So Jay Gruden knows his team has their work cut out for them. The opening kickoff is coming up next.
How are they going to be able to look past this and focus on next Saturday's contest?
Official athletic retailer of the Arena Football League. Champ Sports, where sport lives.
In competition, injuries happen. It's part of the game. And to get back your level of performance takes a lot of hard work, discipline, and the best health care. Health South is the nation's leading provider of outpatient diagnostic, surgery, and rehabilitation services. So we can help you get back fast to the action, the competition, and the glory. We know your body. We understand your spirit. We get you back.
Aaron's sells more high-definition widescreen TVs than just about anybody else in America. It's the sign of a great deal. Aaron's has the widescreen and LCD flat panel TVs that everybody wants, all at the price everybody wants, the guaranteed lowest price. Aaron's also sells brand new, brand name furniture, appliances, and computers at the guaranteed lowest price. No credit check and the most flexible payment plans. So picture yourself getting your next TV at Aaron's. Do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's.
Arena football, demonstrated by Kurt Warner and John Elway. Arena quarterbacks pass almost every play. Score so high you'll need oxygen. Running for the sidelines? What sidelines? Offense also plays defense. Oh, one more thing. The field, only 50 yards long.
Watch the Arena Football League, Season 20 on FSN.
Welcome back to Kemper Arena in Kansas City, getting set for the Predators and the Brigade from KC. And certainly for the Predators coming in here tonight, trying to rebound after a tough loss last week at Colorado. We'll see if they can against the Brigade team that has been much more spirited of late. Joe Hamilton comes in with a lot at stake here tonight as he smells those salts and gets set to go. Hamilton needs just 22 yards to become the Predators' all-time passing leader. Pat O'Hara has that all-time mark. And when you think of single season records, Joe Hamilton is closing in on Jay Gruden's marks. Right now he needs 118 yards to pass his coach with 3,622 yards in a single season. And Gruden told us earlier this week they might run the ball a lot tonight.
Yeah, when we brought that up to him, because he didn't realize that Joey Hamilton was about to break his record there. He said, hey, well, I guess we're going to have to run the ball a lot more this week or the next 2 weeks to make sure he doesn't break that record.
And with those TD passes of 68, he has 59, Hamilton. He'll need 10 more. Now Kevin Porter 3-11 with the Brigade, but this is a team that has improved by leaps and bounds over the last month.
Yeah, it sure has, Dave. They've made a lot of personnel changes at midseason to get bigger and stronger and more physical up front. They brought in guys like Gillis Wilson and Siren Brown and Brian Henderson. Really have solidified their offensive and defensive lines, and this team has played much, much better.
Kansas City won the toss, but they deferred to the second half, so they'll kick off to start this game. That is Mackenzie Homebrecker. They'll be kicking off to the deep man, Jarian James of the Predators. And this opening kick goes deep and high off the net. James has got it from the end zone. Bottled up at the 5. He'll push forward all the way across the 10 up to the 15-yard line. So that's where Orlando will start their offense with Joe Hamilton as we take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by EA Sports. Hamilton is joined by Jimmy Frizzell. Look at that, 76 yards of 1,000 this year. Shy of that, Ruben Dudley and Nagel will join him on offense. As far as the guys on the front line, Taylor is the tight end, Cleveland the center, and Reggie Lee the guard. So the Predators dressed in their road white uniforms. Hamilton back to pass. And the first completion goes out to Dudley. He goes across midfield and down to the 21-yard line of Kansas City. So let's check out the Brigade defensively. And in the secondary for Kansas City, Spears, Pointer, and Coleman. Denario Smalls, their best defender in the secondary, is out with a hamstring injury. The linebackers and linemen feature Butler, Johnson, Cohen, Landry, and Wilson. And one of the things Kansas City has concentrated on in their improvement is trying to get bigger up front, both offensively and defensively. Just out of the reach of Jimmy Frizzell, where that would have been 6. Calvin Spears was there defensively.
And that's the matchup they're going to be looking for all day long, is Jimmy Frizzell on Calvin Spears. You can see he's got him beaten on that corner route, but the ball just thrown a little too far outside. And the one thing when we talked to Coach Gruden that he was concerned about was protecting Joey Hamilton. He thought that Kansas City's pass rush was very good, but their secondary was not real good. So if Hamilton has time to throw the ball, they think that there's a lot of room to throw the ball down the field.
Here comes Dudley in motion. They look to him in the end zone. He's wide open. Touchdown, Orlando. Calvin Spears beat on the play. Javarius Dudley with his 12th touchdown of the year.
And they go right back at number 11, Calvin Spears. They almost caught this corner route for a touchdown the play before. They come right back to it, and this time Dudley's the guy running the corner route and catches the touchdown. Calvin Spears, he's got his hands full tonight. He's got to be much more aggressive than he has been so far in this first series.
You can already see the Brigade missing Denario Smalls in that secondary. Now for the point after, it's Jay Taylor. The kick is up and it is good. And Orlando moves quickly as they take the ball 35 yards for the touchdown. This, the connection from Joe Hamilton to Javarius Dudley. 7-0 Orlando.
Good to see you, Mal.
Good to see you.
What she's doing? Was she eating a burger?
No, I'm gonna bug you guys sometime, you know what I'm saying? Meet up with me, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, what's with her, man? One sushi, one sushi, what is your fluffy cheesesteak kind guy?
This burger, Cheesesteak right there, you know what I'm saying? Chop-balls, all the onion, cheese, huh? And a story. Unbelievable. Hello. All right, baby, the meter's always running.
The Philly Cheesesteak Thick Burger. New at Hardee's.
For the first time in Idol history, Fox Reality, the all-reality, all-the-time network, takes you backstage for a little extra. A little American Idol extra.
Some of them were crying backstage. It was really sad.
We pick up where the voting left off and hear what they have to say. Finally, it's the whole Idol experience as Fox Reality goes behind the scenes every week.
This is incredible.
American Idol Extra, a Fox Reality original with encore performances all weekend.
Hi. Being there for kids is super good fun.
All it takes is a little know-how. Curiosity. The key to a lifetime of discovery.
Kids will go to mighty great lengths to impress you.
Kids know what's cool. Good thing you don't have to. Moments like these happen every day.
Lend your support. Go to bigbrothersbigsisters.org.
Until next time.
So Orlando takes a 7-0 lead as Javaris Dudley gets wide open in the secondary of the Brigade.
And the problem, Dave, is that Calvin Spears, and you can see him lined up right here, he just plays right in the middle. He doesn't move, and now he gives Dudley a two-way go. You've got to take something away from the guy because he's got a two-way go. He can go to the post or the corner. That time he takes the corner route, and Calvin Spears is 2 steps behind.
Unbelievable. So Spears really had no real chance to stop Javaris Dudley on that play. Now here's Jay Taylor to kick off, and back deep Sam Simmons for the Brigade. This one goes through the upright. Here comes Simmons taking it off the net. Little stutter step at the goal line, only up to the 4-yard line. That's where Kansas City will start their offense. So Chris Sanders, he comes out as we check out the EA Sports starting lineup for the Brigade. Sanders is joined by Boone, who has been terrific in his rookie campaign. Johnson, Myers, another great rookie, and Butler. And Butler only in his 5th year. Up front, B.J. Cohen, who is a former Predator, along with Lucas Yarnell, the veteran center, and Gillis Wilson. Wilson, one of those guys added mid-season by the Brigade. So here comes Sanders. He has been very efficient. His quarterback rating 11th in the league. And he wants to go deep to a wide-open Myers. Wow. 41 yards on the first play from the line of scrimmage from Sanders to Myers.
And that's what they need out of this offense, some big play ability and some quick strike opportunities, because they don't play well when they get down big. So that was a very big play for Kansas City to get back, tie this ball game up, because they are a much, much better team when they play with the lead.
Myers just took off and was wide open in the secondary. Had to wait a split second for the pass, and then he was off to the races. So the point after from Homebrecker is up, and it hits the upright. No good. That has been a trouble spot for the Brigade all year long, missing extra points. And with that, Myers gets the touchdown. No point after. Orlando still with a lead. A quick strike by the Brigade as they go 41 yards for the TD.
I woke up in the middle of the night, terrified. Someone tried to come in my house. Fortunately, we had an ADT security system.
Mrs. Parker, this is ADT. We're receiving an alarm. Are you all right?
Yes, we're okay. I'm glad ADT was there, watching out for my family.
Don't take chances. Take control of your family's safety with ADT, America's #1 security company. Call now and save up to $200 on ADT protection packages. ADT, always there.
413-248-6250.
A lot to cheer about for Kansas City as they score on their first play for the line of scrimmage. Myers takes it 46 yards for the touchdown. The third member of our broadcast crew here tonight is Danny Boatwright, who's down on the field. Danny?
Thanks, Dave. You guys talk about Joe Hamilton being an outstanding runner. I mean, he's not afraid to tuck the ball and run, but he's also been proven to be a prolific passer. And that's going to be key tonight because having these nagging shoulder injuries, he's going to have to be able to pass the ball tonight in order to save himself, because it looks like Orlando is probably going to have some more games here in the future, so they need to keep that shoulder and keep him rested for the rest of the season. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Danny. Hamilton certainly will be busy throughout the playoffs, and right now they're playing for that first-round bye, which is so important for the Predators. When you look at it in their entire history, they have never lost a quarterfinal game at home. So if they get that first-round bye, they play that first round, the quarterfinal game, where they are 7-0 at home.
And not only that, Dave, it allows your players to heal from injuries, get their legs fresh and ready to go. So the bye week is huge, and that's why this game is so important for Orlando.
James takes it off the net. Little cutback. Now hemmed in. Straight arm action by James, and that gains him another 5 yards. He gets it up to the 10. Rob Johnson finally forced him down there. So Joe Hamilton needs just 1 yard to become the Predators' all-time passing leader. Right now he is tied with Pat O'Hara. I think it's a pretty safe bet he's going to get it.
Yeah, no question about it. And that says a lot about Joe Hamilton. At only 5'9", some people list him at 5'10", and that's stretching it quite a bit. But at 5'9", for a guy to be able to throw for that many yards says a lot, because those 6'2", 6'3" linemen are tough to throw over.
Frizzell, who was in motion, gains enough for the first down, it looks like, up to the 21-yard line. Jarrell Myers able to stop him there. Right now, defensively, Kansas City has a couple of players playing out of position, most notably because of the injury to Denario Smalls.
And that's been tough for the secondary. That's where they've really struggled this year, is in the back end. They've gotten good pressure up front on the quarterback, but they've given up too many big plays, and that's a concern for Coach Kevin Porter and the Brigade, but also something that Coach Gruden and the Predators think that they can exploit.
Here comes Frizzell in motion again. Looks like it was going to be offsides on B.J. Cohen. And taking it against the wall is Javaris Dudley. He gains 9 on the play. Travis Coleman able to stop him shy of that first down marker. And now we'll see what the flag is about. Dennis Lipsky is our referee here tonight.
Offside, number 5 in the defense. Penalties decline. Second out.
And that was against B.J. Cohen, the former Predator. I think he was trying to anticipate Frizzell in motion and jumped a little bit early.
Well, they know up front, in order to help that secondary out, you've got to get pressure on the quarterback. So those guys up front are thinking, we've got to get up the field in a hurry.
This time the handoff inside to Moye Moore, and he is stopped shy of the first down marker. No gain for Moye Moore. Gillis Wilson was the first man there, and then Butler came in to help out with a stop.
And you know, Dave, I talked about Kansas City wanting to get up the field in a hurry to get after the quarterback, but they cannot afford to forget about the run. Orlando is the second best running team in the entire league, and if you get those guys thinking up the field rush all the time, there are going to be some lanes and some creases in that defense to run the ball.
Jayce, it's not unusual for the Predators to be up there. They have been in the top 3 in rushing in the Arena League 11 times in their history. Little contact at the goal line, no flag on the play as Dudley goes down. Now a 4th down and 1 for the Predators at the 20.
You can see at the top of the screen, Travis Coleman, number 27, doing a good job on Dudley, staying in front of him and maintaining his body position, making Dudley run through him.
Predators on 4th down will get the first down. It looks like Jimmy Frizzell has plenty for the first down as they move it to the 18-yard line. Cohen makes the stop, but Gruden and the the Predators will keep this drive alive. They have succeeded on better than 50% of their fourth down plays this year.
Because they're so balanced offensively. They throw the ball. Their receiving core is all very good. They're all productive receivers. And when you start thinking about stopping those guys, well, now the running game plays a big factor. And Coach Gruden loves to run the football.
Fresh set of downs on first down. Over to the wall comes Dudley, and he is forced down right near that first down marker at the 8-yard line by Travis Coleman.
You know, Dave, when we talk to Coach Gruden about running the football, you know, he says he does it for a reason. It's not that they just run it just to run it, but it really takes a lot of pressure off of their quarterback and slows the pass rush down. Those linebackers and those defensive linemen have to be aware and read run before they can just run up the field. So it's very effective in helping the quarterback.
It helps, too, to have a running quarterback. Running the ball again, and again going nowhere as B.J. Cohen throws Dudley into the wall.
Great play by B.J. Cohen. Cohen sliding all the way to the outside. Calvin Spears forced the ball to be bounced outside. You see Calvin Spears, number 11, right there. But look at number 5. B.J. Cohen just continuing to scrape down the line of scrimmage. You'll see him right there just mirroring Dudley the entire way and then coming up and wrapping him up. That was a great job of closing and wrapping up by B.J. Cohen.
So 3rd and 1. Into the end zone, and they're going to throw a flag here on Calvin Spears. The ball really wasn't in the neighborhood. I think the officials are going to maybe take this flag away. That wasn't a catchable ball.
And that was a tough call. I don't know if there was interference there anyway. Calvin Spears much better at the line.
Interference, number 11 of the defense. After distance to the goal, automatic first down.
You can see Spears up there in the slot. The ball is gone, and I don't know if with that left hand, if he grabbed the jersey, you can see right there that left hand, he's got a full fisted jersey, and that's what they called. And like you said, Dave, that ball may have been an uncatchable ball, but anytime they see you grab that jersey, they're going to get you for that.
Yeah, and on second look, with that much jersey in his hand, I can see the reason for the call. Frizzell goes in motion, 1st and goal from the 5, and it's a touchdown for Dudley. 2nd touchdown pass of the day for Joe Hamilton, and he hooks up with Dudley once again.
And that was just too easy of a throw for Joe Hamilton. You can see Coach Kevin Porter talking right there to Travis Coleman, telling him you've got to be more aggressive. Coleman is in the slot, and he just backs up into the end zone, and now Dudley just runs that quick out. It's an easy throw, an easy catch, and once he catches it, it's a touchdown.
Now for the point after, Jay Taylor. And Orlando 2 for 2, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns, both of them from Joe Hamilton to Javaris Dudley. That's been quite a combination this year. Dudley now with 13 touchdown catches on the year.
Success rarely happens on the first drive. To achieve your goals, you have to stay focused, practice hard, and learn from your mistakes. Every situation, every game presents a new challenge, but never quit. Your hard work will pay off. Perseverance is just one of the lessons we learn from this great game of football.
The AFL is proud to partner with USA Football to help make youth football a fun way to learn the game of life.
Hey, what's up?
EA Sports, Arena Football, rated E10 for ages 10 and up. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Here in Vegas, the action is heating up at the poker tables.
Come on, guys. Which game are we playing here? The Arena Bowl's down the street. How bad do you want it?
This June, the AFL's championship game, Arena Bowl 20, is playing Vegas. Don't miss the party. Watch the drive to Arena Bowl 20 on FSN.
I I cannot believe I'm losing to a bunch of mascots.
Well, the Predators take a 14-6 lead over Kansas City. They've made it look pretty easy offensively, and certainly this combination from Hamilton to Dudley has been terrific.
And watch in the slot, you're going to see Travis Coleman. It's just a technique problem. You see, first of all, he loses his man, and now he's too far away, and he backs up in the end zone. He's way inside. Number one is a problem, and then he's not aggressive enough, and it's just an easy throw for Hamilton out to Dudley on that quick out.
Now Jay Taylor to kick off. Nothing will drive Coach Porter of the Brigade more crazy than problems in the secondary. That's where he started in the NFL.
And most of their problems have been technique-oriented like we just saw. It's not physical, but you've got to know what you're supposed to do.
Tough catch off the net for Simmons, and he is stopped before he gets to the 5-yard line by DeAndre Rubin. Let's see the Brigade's offense again. They've only run one play, but boy, it was terrific. 46 yards from Sanders to Myers for a touchdown.
And now they've got to play catch up, something that they've done pretty much all year. And you can see the numbers there for Chris Sanders, but for Kansas City, they've always played from behind. They're 0-10 when the opponent scores first, and obviously Orlando scored first on their first 2 possessions tonight, so that's not a good sign for Kansas City.
Sanders back from his own end zone, throws to a wide open Myers. Boy, Myers has had 2 catches in this game, and both times he has been wide open. This one goes up to the 22-yard line. Lynn J. Shell finally makes the stop there. Now there is Shell in that secondary, brought to you by EA Sports. And then Kenny McIntyre, former K-Stater. We'll watch him closely tonight. One of the best defenders in the league. And then Davidson will join them. Charlie Davidson, Nagel, James, Taylor, Cleveland, and White round out the Orlando defense. Well, this play, the last play by the Brigade, now being called back due to a penalty. So there is Kenny McIntyre in his 9th year in the AFL. The man they call the Glove.
And one of the best in the history of arena football, and Coach Gruden said that he thinks that Kenny McIntyre is the best defensive back in the history of arena football.
Sanders, the pass was batted in the end zone. Rubin's got it for the touchdown. Greg White put on the pressure, and then the touchdown came easily.
You see the pressure comes up the field on Sanders. He's just going to get his arm hit right there. You see big Greg White, 95, just reaching out. That ball goes straight in the air and right in the hands of Rubin, who takes it in for a touchdown.
So DeAndre Rubin called into play defensively. And you can see that's his first interception of the year. He's played sparingly on defense, but called into action. Jeroy Johnson still out on injured reserve with a hamstring injury. So the Predators have had to make some adjustments of their own. And now Orlando looking pretty, trying to make it 21-6. As Jay Taylor goes for his 3rd straight point after. It's up, and it's right through the heart of the uprights. So Orlando able to do it offensively and now defensively, as DeAndre Rubin able to take this deflected pass and go 5 yards in for the touchdown. It's all Predators to begin this game.
Official athletic retailer of the Arena Football League. Champ Sports, where sport lives. Here in Vegas, the action's heating up at the Arena Football Celebrity Table.
Let's go, Coach. Hey, pipe down, poker brat. I bet 100. Make it 300.
He cannot do that.
Illegal procedure, Ditka.
What'd I do?
Personal foul, Ditka. What are you talking about? You're out of here. You're not fair.
This June, the AFL's championship game, Arena Bowl 20, is playing Vegas. Watch the drive to Arena Bowl 20 on FSN.
Security!
Orlando now takes a 21-6 lead, and you think of the Predators' fortune against Kevin Porter's Brigade. Brigade looked like they were going to have the ball near midfield, and then a penalty brought the ball back to the 3-yard line. And then with Sanders throwing off his back foot from the end zone, pass partially deflected by White, and then picked off by DeAndrew Rubin. So Porter's troops are now in a huge hole here as they trail 21-6. Down 2 scores. You don't want to go down 3 scores in this game. It becomes real frantic at that point. 2 scores, you're still very much alive. And this one will get caught up in the net and go on into the crowd. So Kansas City will start their offense on the 5-yard line. It's about where they've started their first 2 drives anyway. So here comes Sanders out again, hoping for some better protection this time.
And if they give him time to throw the ball, he's shown over the past few weeks that he's a very accurate guy and he can make some plays. They've got some big play wide receivers. Obviously, we saw Jarrell Myers score on that first drive, but they're really hurt because they're missing James Jordan, one of their other big play wide receivers.
Aaron Boone going in motion. Collision right at the line of scrimmage. And they go away from Boone, back to Myers again. He's close to a first down to the 14, where Kenny McIntyre, the glove, makes the stop.
Wow, did you see that collision at the line of scrimmage? Aaron Boone and Charlie Davidson. That's what I was talking about being aggressive at the line of scrimmage, playing bump and run. You're going to see in the slot at the top. You couldn't quite see it there, but the collision there just completely threw Aaron Boone off of his route, and Chris Sanders had to throw the ball short.
Threw Davidson off his slot too. Now this time it's John Booth who makes the catch. Charlie Davidson makes the stop, but that'll move the chains. The ball goes up to the 18-yard line.
You know, Orlando's got some concerns in that secondary also with Jeroy Johnson being out with that hamstring. He was the guy that took care of the middle of the field, and with him out, they've had to move Kenny McIntyre into the middle of the field, and that's why you see a guy like Charlie Davidson out there playing corner.
Quick out and quickly dropped too on the wing as John Booth couldn't hang on. Booth, a big local success story here in Kansas City.
They're just throwing a quick screen outside to Davidson, number 11. You see him at the top of the screen. They figure with him in the ball game, they're going to try to attack him, and wherever he's at, the last 2 plays, they've thrown the ball right to the guy that he's covering. So we'll continue to watch that matchup, and now at the top of the screen, we'll see there's Davidson right there.
They're looking that way. Now Sanders comes back the other way. There's a flag thrown in. We could have a holding call. We'll see what the flag is about as Idris Price puts some pressure on defensively. Again, Dennis Lipsky is our referee.
Number 98, defense. That's a 10-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
That's against Charles Hill of the Predators. So there was holding, but it went against Jay Gruden's team. So Kansas City gets a break, an automatic first down, and the ball across midfield down to the Predators' 22-yard line.
Charles Hill, number 98, right there in the middle at the nose tackle. You can see him just pulling Kyle Rasmussen in the center, and you can't do that in arena football.
Booth has got it, and again they're picking on Davidson like you pointed out, Jayce.
Well, that's what you've got to do when obviously with a guy like Kenny McIntyre out there, one of the best, if not the best defensive backs to ever play. You want to stay away from that guy as much as possible. Now you've got a young guy in there, a guy that's not used to being out there in coverage, and Davidson, you've got to go after him.
So you know this is like a chess game. Both coaches are going to try to make adjustments to that. How does Gruden and his defensive coordinator, Les Moss, adjust to the strategy of the Brigade?
Well, we talked to Gruden about that, and he said they've got to mix their coverages up. They're going to play more zone coverage like they did right here.
Now Myers has it as they work on McIntyre on a short route. And Myers is going to have a first down at the 11-yard line, almost to the 10.
And that's the way you help a young defensive back in this league if you're not getting to the quarterback, is you got to mix your coverages up. And that time they played zone and they helped Davidson deep and gave up the short pass. But what they've got to do then, you've got to come up and tackle. If you miss a tackle in this indoor game, there's not very many people behind you that's going to make the tackle.
Now, for all intents and purposes, this is first and goal. The ball is just outside the 10. Kansas City can get a first down, but it would be inside the 1. This time they throw it to Aaron Boone, and he muscles in very close to the end zone. They're going to rule him down, and he does have a first down right at the goal line. Boy, Aaron Boone, he was destined to get into the end zone.
And that's one advantage Kansas City has, is the size of their wide receivers versus the smaller defensive backs of Orlando.
First quarter comes to a close. The Brigade just inches away from their second touchdown. First quarter belonged to Orlando. They lead 21-6. The AFL is presented by ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. By Health South, getting you back to work, to play, to living. And by Aaron's. Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody. With Danny Boatwright, Jayce Pearson, I'm Dave Armstrong. Watching Kevin Porter and the Brigade trail the Predators after the first quarter here at Kemper Arena in Kansas City. As he looks up at that scoreboard, he sees his Brigade team down 21-6 as we get ready to start the second quarter. But the Brigade are right on the goal line. Inches away. Sanders looks like he's got enough for the touchdown. Sanders is in his 13th rushing touchdown of the year.
And that's what he has really brought to this offense. You see him hopping over there. Is he going after the ball, or are they celebrating with the fans? I don't know what they're doing there, but that's another dimension that he's really brought to this offense, is his legs. And as you mentioned, Dave, that's his 13th rushing touchdown on the season.
He's going for the easy chair over there. So 13 rushing touchdowns and 32 through the air. The extra point this time is good for Homebrecker. So Sanders scores again on the ground. A chip shot from inside the 1-yard line. And Kansas City back within a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Now, when you look at the Predators and what they have at stake here tonight, certainly for the Brigade, they're just trying to finish out the string and get ready for 2007. But when you look at the Southern Division, Orlando at 9-5, a win tonight, they clinch it. They've got all the tiebreakers. They would clinch the Southern Division, and with that, a first-round bye in the playoffs. Let's go down to Danny Boatwright, who is on the Brigade bench. Danny?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Chris Sanders. Sanders, it looks like you're going after Davidson a little bit.
I don't know. That's just the plays they call. I don't know. I just go, they tell me to go and make the reads.
It looked like the first touchdown was good, but they called it no good. You just got right in there and got the second one, got your 13th rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I guess I wish Boone could have got one. He fought so hard for that play. I wish he could have scored, but they didn't give it to him.
Well, congratulations. Good luck the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Danny. So Chris Sanders with his 13th rushing touchdown, and quite frankly, Jayce, that's why he took the place of Andy Kelly midseason.
It is, because they had so many problems up front with their offensive line. They needed a mobile guy in there, and Chris Sanders was just the guy they were looking for.
Jerian James gets loose and brought down as Dozart makes probably a touchdown-saving tackle, and falling forward, James to the 18-yard line.
Well, here's where Kansas City's defense, they've got to find a way to come up with the stop, and that's been a problem for them all season long. They only have 5 interceptions on the entire season, by far the lowest number of any team in arena football. So they've had a problem getting stops, getting turnovers, and getting off the field.
And 3 of those 5 interceptions by Smalls, who's out of the lineup tonight, and all 3 of those interceptions by Smalls in one game. Now Hamilton bottled up, and there's his elusiveness. He turns nothing into something as he falls forward to the 21-yard line.
And that's what Kansas City's got to be able to do, is get up the field. And you can see B.J. Cohen, Gillis Wilson, those guys inside collapsing that pocket on Joe Hamilton, forcing him to pull that ball down and run. And that's a big concern for Orlando, because remember, Hamilton's got that sore shoulder, and they cannot afford to have him injured going into the playoffs.
Dudley will go in motion. Hamilton with a quick hitter to Dudley. And he falls forward across the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Good enough for the first down. Rob Johnson only able to stop him there.
The Predators are so tough to stop. They've got 4 receivers, Dudley, James, Frizzell, Reuben, all these guys, 3 of those guys are probably going over the 1,000-yard mark this season, and all 4 of them will have at least 600 yards, so you don't know who to stop. So that puts a lot of pressure on a defense in that every single guy has got to cover very well on every play.
They really do spread the ball, Orlando. Now Hamilton looks one way, throws the other. Quick hitter to Jerry and James, and he's got another first down. Travis Coleman makes the stop, but inside the 10, they mark it at the 7.
See Kansas City playing a zone defense, giving up a lot of room underneath, and Travis Coleman, number 27, just comes up and makes the tackle there, but that's the designed coverage. Like you said earlier, Dave, it's a chess match out there. You got to try to confuse that quarterback into making him think you're playing man coverage, and you drop into a zone and hopefully create an interception, and that's something that Kansas City hasn't done very well all year.
First and goal for the Predators, and a timeout taken here by Joe Hamilton. That time he was a little confused by the defense that the Brigade showed, so we'll step aside along with these two teams. Right now the Predators knocking on the door again, leading 21-13. Jay Gruden, his 7th year guiding the Predators. Of course, he is one-time quarterback, too, in the AFL, and actually left the coaching ranks to go back to quarterbacking. We asked him if he was ever thinking of going back on the field as a player again, and he said, I think you'll tell from my size that my playing days are behind me. He said, nope, I'm a coach now, full-time.
But you never lose that desire. You always think, once you've played, you always think in the back of your mind, man, if I just worked out a little bit, I think I can get back out there and do it. And as competitive as Coach Gruden is, you know that every now and then he's got to have that urge.
What a record. 6 arena titles, either as a player or as a coach. Boy, did you see Frizzell scale the wall? He looked like Spider-Man right near the goal line.
I thought he was going to go over the wall, but he stayed on this side and almost got into the end zone.
He was in a Pointer Spears sandwich over there.
Yeah, and Calvin Spears, again, they're working on him. And look at him. It looks like he's almost going over the wall. And watch his left shoulder and his head. It looks like he gets twisted up right there. Lucky he doesn't get injured.
Man. Just giving his body up, Jimmy Frizzell.
It's a tough man game, Dave. You got those walls down there. You got defensive backs driving you into the walls. Those walls aren't that soft. There's only 3 inches of padding on those walls down there. So you get a full head of steam and you run into one of those walls, there's not much that's going to give.
Jimmy Frizzell has dealt with adversity this year. Diagnosed as a Class 1 diabetic, actually missed a couple of weeks while they got his medication set. And now Jimmy Frizzell back playing with Orlando and playing well. Second-year player out of Central Florida. And this time the give is to Nagel, the fullback, and he goes nowhere. Might have even been dropped for a little bit of a loss. Rob Johnson was there defensively. Also in on the play, Jeremy Butler.
And here's where it could be a problem for Orlando, because normally they'll use Hamilton to run the ball also. As you can see, Kansas City does a great job of attacking and coming forward, getting that push at the line of scrimmage. But with Hamilton's shoulder injury, they're hesitant about calling run plays for him. So now that leaves them with just a fullback.
I'm going to ask you about that in just a second. This time they give it to James, and he too is stopped. Gillis Wilson stops him right at the line. 2 running plays going nowhere for the Predators. We know that Hamilton's shoulder is hurt. We know he's not going to run the ball much. Do you think the Brigade knows that as well?
Oh, no question about it. They read the papers. They know the injury report. You can see those guys up front, and they know that this Predator team likes to run the ball, and they're good at it. And that's a challenge. And you can see Gillis Wilson, B.J. Cohen, those guys up front, the last 2 plays have dominated the line of scrimmage physically.
Let's see if they try to run it again on 4th down. They pitch it out to Nagel, and he goes in for the score.
Yeah!
Jay Gruden shouting his congratulations. 3rd time's the charm for the Predators.
Well, if you can't get it inside, next thing you do is just throw that little, run that quick sweep, and you can see they're just going to toss the ball and try to get to the corner. They're going to try to seal B.J. Cohen, number 5, right there. drags him to the ground, and next thing you know, it's just an easy run for Nagel around the corner.
So Gruden and the Predators celebrate. They've had the ball 3 times offensively. They scored all 3. 2 touchdown passes from Hamilton to Dudley, and that time the 1-yard run from Nagel. And again, Jay Taylor's point after is good. So Nagel scores another touchdown, and Orlando spreads the lead to 28-13.
Geico Motorcycle Insurance. Serious protection for serious riders. Geico. One call could save you money on your motorcycle insurance, too. Let's ride. Whether you're a casual rider or a hardcore biker, Geico Motorcycle Insurance has you covered. No wonder thousands of riders are switching to Geico each week. Geico. One call could save you money on your motorcycle insurance, too. Let's ride.
Baseball fans know the home of the Cardinals is FSN Midwest. And this season is like no other, as select Cardinals telecasts are now available in high definition. With the razor-sharp clarity of HD, you'll feel like you're at the park. Check with your local cable provider for more information and HD channel number. Visit foxsports.com, search FSN HD for the HD schedule. Don't miss the Cardinals take on the Rockies. Presented in high definition, Monday and Tuesday on FSN Midwest.
Fox College Sports has the recipe for the ultimate college reunion. Start with over 800 live NCAA events. Add your favorite conferences, like the Pac-10, Big 12, and more. Toss in news from around the NCAA. Unbelievable! And garnish with the hottest coaches shows. This is the place where college never ends. To order Fox College Sports, call 1-877-2-GET-FCS.
So welcome back to Kemper Arena. You're looking at Kevin Nagel, who just scored from 1 yard out. 3rd time that Predators tried to score from the 1. And instead of going inside, they went outside that time, and Nagel goes in easily. Makes it 28-13. Now Jay Taylor will kick off. And again, Sam Simmons is back deep. One thing we've noticed from Taylor's kickoffs, he loves to kick it through the uprights if he can. That's the soft part of the net, and makes it much more difficult to return. Good run back by Simmons. Wow! Simmons goes all the way down to the 15-yard line. What a terrific run by Sam Simmons.
It sure was a good job by Simmons, just splitting the defenders. You're going to see him split that first wave of defenders right there. He just jumps right through that gap and then makes a move and just continues to weave his way down the field. And that's a huge return for Kansas City, being down 2 scores, to now be able to start their drive on the 15-yard line.
Tough play, too, for Simmons. That's the 3rd time he's had to take the ball through the uprights off the soft part of the net. That's tremendous accuracy, isn't it, from Jay Taylor? Simmons throwing off his back foot, throws behind his intended receiver, Boone. And Johnson was also in the neighborhood.
And like he said, Sanders throws the ball off of his back foot. He's got to step into that throw. If he settles in and steps into that throw, it's a touchdown. He doesn't get a lot of pressure here. Look, he just hurries his throw, and it just sails on him. If he steps into that throw and uses proper fundamentals and techniques, then that's probably a touchdown for Kansas City.
It looked like when he was throwing that ball, JC, like he was expecting to be hit. Sanders quick drop. Again, this time he just throws it away, feeling the pressure coming.
And that time he does get hit, and he has to throw the ball off of his back foot. And, you know, that's a great example of why you've got to take advantage of the plays when they're there to be made. The play before, he should have had a touchdown. He didn't have any pressure, and he didn't make the play. Now the next play, he gets that pressure on him that he was expecting the play before, and now he's got to throw the ball away, and it's 3rd and 10.
We are told that Raymond Filyaw, who is the backup here for the Brigade, may see some action here tonight.
Well, they've got to know what they've got in Filyaw, who's an Arena Football League veteran, but you know, they're preparing for the future here in Kansas City.
Sanders trying to throw it airborne to Aaron Boone, who almost made a spectacular grab.
Yeah, but if Sanders keeps throwing the ball like that, we may see Filyaw sooner than expected. And you can see, again, not a lot of pressure in his face, but he's throwing the ball as though the pressure's all over him and letting the ball sail on him. He's not stepping into his throws, and That time the ball, it luckily did not get intercepted.
So already down 28-13. Sanders wants to call a timeout here. You see he is 6 of 11 for 80 yards, but a 4th down upcoming. And Tress Sullivan, the offensive coordinator for the Brigade, talking things over with Chris Sanders.
And once you get to the 15-yard line, they consider that the red zone because the field shrinks so much on you. The end zones are only 8 yards deep, so there's not a lot of room to run for those wide receivers. And what that does is those defensive backs start to sit on those shorter routes, so the guys aren't open like they are in the middle of the field. And now you got to run crossing routes to try to run away from a guy. But on 4th and 10, they'll probably drop into a zone, force the ball to be thrown short, and come up and make the tackle.
We'll see the call here. We heard the call from Jay Gruden on the touchdown for the Predators when Kevin Nagel went in from the 1.
Left snug, 28 toss.
Yeah! That left snug 28 toss worked for the touchdown. Now Sanders pulls it back. His arm hit as he releases the ball. It's an incomplete pass. Charles Hill came in and broke up the play, and Kansas City turns it over on downs.
Good job of pressure. You're going to see Charles Hill, number 98, keep working, keep fighting, just pushes past the blocker and is able to get to Sanders again on that pump fake. Sanders has to know that if he pumps like that, he's got to take off and run because that pocket is going to collapse on him. It doesn't take a lot of time. Charles Hill comes in and knocks that ball down.
So now twice the Brigade had the ball offensively and did not score. One other time the Brigade coughed it up, and DeAndrew Rubin intercepted the ball and took it in for a touchdown. Now the Brigade miss out an opportunity as they turn it over on downs. Quick hitter out to the aforementioned Rubin, but he is stopped immediately by Chris Pointer. In fact, a loss of a half yard as those threes collide. Clock running, second quarter of action. Jay Gruden's team trying to wrap up the South Division. Look at the efficiency of Hamilton so far here tonight. And again, keep in mind he only needs 118 yards to pass his coach, Jay Gruden, with 3,622 yards on the year, which would be a single season record for Orlando. Going into the wall was Frizzell. Remember, there was no contact by the Brigade when he first went into the wall. One of the new rules in the Arena League, so he can restart if he possibly could and only gain maybe 1 more yard.
Well, Calvin Spears tried to drive him into the wall. As you can see, number 11 comes in with the hit right here, and he gets the worst of it. You can see he just bounces right off of Frizzell. Frizzell stays up, and Calvin Spears goes to the ground. You see, it looks like he's a little bit shaken up there.
Yeah, Spears a little wobbly, isn't he? They've been picking on Spears too, the Predators. Let's see if they do here. They go after Rubin. And that again is Pointer on the coverage. Gain down to the 15-yard line.
Looked like Rubin shaking up on that play. And a little woozy there. He didn't want to get up, but the Brigade players were talking some trash to him down there. He said, I can't take that, so he tried to get up, and it looks like he had to go back down to a knee. But you're going to see right here, Chris Pointer, number 3, comes up, and then he's going to take a shot right there on the helmet by Byron Dozart, and that's what shook him up. And you can see he didn't want to get up there. He laid back down, took a shot right there on the helmet.
That's what you call a Reuben sandwich.
And he's up, he's walking off. It looks like he's still a little woozy there.
Wow. And that Reuben sandwich had a little extra mustard on it.
Yeah, it's a physical game down there. Those guys are hitting, and when you get guys that big and that fast and that strong, and these small fields indoors, there's a lot of collisions.
So Reuben trying to figure out whether he's in Missouri or Kansas right now. For your information, he is in Missouri. And a quick give inside. The ball goes to Idris Price. Picks up a first down. Siren Brown makes the stop. And now the ball just outside the 10-yard line. So far the Predators 3 for 3 offensively. Clock under 4 minutes in the second quarter. That's real easy as Idris Price goes in around the right side and on in 10 yards for the touchdown.
And what a great block by Reggie Lee to seal the corner. Number 98, Reggie Lee. Watch him right here on the edge. Watch him seal the corner. Does a great job right there, just getting his feet outside and just seals the corner. Now there's nobody else out there for Price to worry about. He just took Siren Brown and just turned his shoulders inside and really just allowed Price just to jog around the end.
Now Taylor, it's been automatic so far, not only from the extra point standpoint, but also on kickoffs. He just splits the uprights every time. So Hill gets the touchdown. That's the second running touchdown for the Predators here tonight. Orlando blowing this game open now, leading 35-13.
And again, you can see the right side is right there. Hill, number 98, just seals that corner. And Price just gets that quick toss outside, and his job is easy. All he's got to do is just sprint around there and get into the end zone. But what a great block to seal that corner.
You know, we talked about the bye week for the Predators, but with a win here tonight, it in essence gives them a couple of bye weeks because they play Austin at home next week. Now, you'd want to win that game, but you can almost give that one away.
It doesn't mean anything,
right,
really. You know, it means pride, but it doesn't mean anything in the playoff race.
So you could rest Hamilton for probably half a game, just let him play a little bit. It almost becomes like an exhibition game in a sense for the Predators if they win tonight.
It does, but the problem with the arena football is you don't have a lot of backups. Guys are playing both ways, so you really can't rest a lot of guys. Hamilton is probably the only guy that really can get an extended amount of rest, but still for your quarterback that's a little banged up and he's the guy that really makes this team go, it would be huge if they got him out not only next week, but even tonight. If they continue to play well tonight, Gruden said they may sit him down tonight and get him some rest.
So we'll see if Hamilton, if he can get like a game and a half off, a week and a half off. And now you wonder, too, about Raymond Filio. We just saw him out on the field warming up a little bit. And you wonder, might this be the opportunity for Raymond Filio to make his Kansas City debut? You see his numbers in 6 years in the AFL. He has been terrific.
And the one thing that he's done very well is take care of the football. His turnover ratio is great, and that's something with a young team like Kansas City. You've got to take care of the football. And they're minus 10 now in their turnover ratio, and that's been a huge problem for Kansas City. And that's not all on Chris Sanders. A couple of weeks ago, he had 3 interceptions, but the wide receivers ran wrong routes, and Coach Porter said you got to give those 2 interceptions to the receivers, so it's not all on the quarterback.
Kicking off here will be Jay Taylor for the Predators, leading 35-13. Now Jarrell Myers is back deep.
Kansas City expecting an onside kick here.
Kansas City with 7 guys up inside the 15, but this kickoff goes deep, and this time not through the uprights. Here comes Myers. The speedy Myers takes it up to the 10-yard line, where Idris Price able to stop him there. So we are going to have a change at quarterback for the Brigade. Raymond Filio making his Kansas City debut. You mentioned his efficiency, Jayce. How about his first year with Indiana in 2001? He threw 68 touchdowns and had only 3 interceptions.
And that's what this team can't afford to have, especially here going into halftime, is another interception. So they're hoping that Filio is going to give them a spark, but also take care of the ball.
Then with Albany, Indiana, and Chicago, And this one partially deflected and incomplete. John Booth was his intended receiver.
But again, Philyaw has not played all year long, so you've got to expect some rust. You've got to expect some nerves, and normally when that happens, the ball sails on you. The guy gets too excited. You can see that first pass by Philyaw almost goes into the stands.
This move by Kansas City, Jayce, as much about 2007 as it is about tonight.
No question. They're building for the future, and in order to do that, you've got to know what you have and how guys are going to respond and play in a game situation. And this is an audition for Ray Philyaw.
Philyaw, a good arm. Booth almost with a catch, and then a female spectator really took one there by Booth, and I hope she's all right. Boy, up on that front row, knocked down and knocked back up again. Well done.
Yeah, she's a tough one. You can see Booth goes in, and look at her right there. Her arm and her shoulder takes the brunt, and watch the fan. Watch the lady in the blue shirt trying to catch the ball, and she gets a lot of Booth and no ball.
Oh, she's checking that chin to make sure she's all right. Still smiling somehow. That is one tough lady. Wow.
Got hit in the chin, and she's like, it's no big deal. Look, what's the big deal?
Yeah, look at
these guys are out here.
Look at the look of pain on her husband's face. He's sitting there thinking, I'll never win a fight with her. She's tough. 35-13 Orlando. Back in a moment.
Hey, what's up?
EA Sports, Arena Football, rated E10 for ages 10 and up. EA Sports, it's in the game.
After 20 seasons of hard-hitting, high-octane, fan-friendly football, we found yet another reason to celebrate.
The Arena Football League has teamed up with Children's Miracle Network to help kids in children's hospitals. Players, coaches, staff, and owners are making a difference for kids in your community. Together, we'll make miracles happen.
Call 913-248-6250.
Well, there is a not so innocent bystander here at Kemper Arena in Kansas City. That woman just took one literally right on the chin and got up smiling.
And she's a tough lady, and she's thinking, these guys out here aren't so tough. They got all these pads on and helmets and face masks. And she took one with nothing on and is smiling about it.
Unbelievable. We've reached the 1-minute warning. Philyaw dances through all of the traffic, and now they're going to say that he is down, Philyaw, at the 4-yard line. Henry Taylor able to sack him there. So the clock keeps winding. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, the Champs Sports halftime report. We'll have highlights from this first half, plus some stats. So there's a timeout on the field right now. Orlando looking to put some real punishment on the Brigade in the first half, already leading 35-13.
This year, the Arena Football League is celebrating its 20th season. And to our great fans everywhere, we've just got one thing to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, what's up?
Sports, Arena Football, rated E10 for ages 10 and up. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Arena Football, demonstrated by Kurt Warner and John Elway. Arena quarterbacks pass almost every play. Score so high you'll need oxygen. Running for the sidelines? What sidelines? Offense also plays defense. Oh, one more thing. The field, only 50 yards long.
Watch the Arena Football League, Season 20 on FSN.
Well, this, for all intents and purposes, is really a kickoff, or a punt, if you will, as Mackenzie Homebrecker will attempt a field goal, but he'll be doing it from his own end zone. You can see on the year just 2 of 6. The longest of the year, 34 yards.
Yeah, not a very good percentage for Mackenzie Homebrecker.
There is no punting in the AFL, but this serves as a punt, and Jarian James, remember, this will be a live ball. Jarian James is back deep to return it. The kick is up, and it is just shy of the goal post. So here comes James. And James will be stopped at the 5-yard line and loses his helmet in the process. Lucas Yarnell was there. That's a good job really by Homebrecker, even though he's now 2 for 7 on field goals this year.
Yeah, it was a good kick. He almost made it.
Well, let's go down to the field, and Danny Boatwright, who is with our ferocious female spectator.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I'm here with Debbie Dobbs, who just took one on the chin for the team, huh?
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, I bit the dust. Thank God for my teammates over here catching me.
Now, I see you have a hot dog and some drinks and stuff. Were you able to hold on to those?
Oh, no. I don't even remember what happened. They'll have to fill you in.
What's the name? Thanks a lot.
Oh, I love sitting first row. This is the best place.
Well, hopefully you won't get hurt anymore.
Oh, let's play.
Well, if she still loves it, that's great. Thanks, Danny. That's terrific stuff. And here's what happened to her. Watch the red-headed female on the blue top. I mean, literally just gets pounded. Now, there is a rule in the AFL. If a ball comes into the stands, you get to keep it. You don't get to keep the players.
Yeah, but the thing is, you might want to wait until the ball comes in the stands. Don't try to go and lean over and catch the ball while it's in the field of play.
All right, lots of time for Hamilton here. The ball is deflected and picked off. The pressure came from Gillis Wilson, and then Byron Dozart with the interception.
Well, that's what they've been trying to do, is get up the field and get after Hamilton. You see, Gillis Wilson just gets his hands in the air, and now it's just a tip ball drill. Gillis Wilson, 92, jumps up, and we said Hamilton's only 5'9", so there's a lot of opportunities to tip those balls in the air. And Dozart comes up with the interception.
So now with 14 seconds remaining till halftime, and Kansas City still has
2 timeouts.
2 timeouts remaining, so plenty of time here. Let's see if Raymond Filyaw can get him into the end zone. They dump it off to Simmons. He is up against the wall and out of bounds. That stops the clock with 7 seconds to go. Excuse me, 8 seconds to go.
And that's plenty of time to run at least 2 more plays and be able to run them anywhere in the field, because you've got 2 timeouts. So you can actually throw the ball short, try to break a tackle. If you get tackled, immediately call timeout. So everything does not have to go into the end zone here.
Clock was an issue in the earlier meeting between these 2 teams in Orlando. Kansas City felt like they did not get the benefit of the doubt from the home scorekeeper. Now 8 seconds remaining here in the first half. And a quick hitter. The ball was fought for. Boy, McIntyre almost had the pick.
McIntyre, that old wily veteran, he knows what's coming. He knows they're going to try to throw that quick slant because his man lined up so wide. So he just jumps inside and almost comes up with the interception. But what Johnson has to do out here, he's got to get his body in there. He's got to get his body and shield McIntyre away from that ball.
Didn't quite get that shoulder turn, did he?
No, he didn't. And allowed Kenny McIntyre just to jump inside of him.
That play took 3 seconds. 2nd and goal from the 6. Still can maybe run 2 more plays.
But this is huge for Kansas City as they take a timeout here. If they can get a touchdown here, they get the ball coming out of the locker room in the second half. So really, you can look at 14 points if they can score here and then come out of the locker room and score again real quickly.
Yeah, it could be a real turn of events for Kansas City as they're able to get the interception. If they can get this in for the touchdown, they feel like maybe they're a part of this game again, especially with their success in the fourth quarter. They have outscored their opponents this year in the fourth quarter 196 to 159. It doesn't sound like much, but this is a team that overall has been outscored by their opponents by a large margin.
Well, they've been good in the fourth quarter, Dave, but the problem is the other quarters.
Yes.
They've gotten down by so many points like they have today. And they've always had to play catch up and fight an uphill battle.
Well, let's see now, Raymond Filyaw on in place of Chris Sanders. 2nd and goal from the 6 with 5 seconds remaining.
It's got to happen quick.
And flags come flying in. It's going to be motion on the part of the Brigade. Back him up 5 yards. Takes it back to the 11.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 12, offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. We're still 2nd down.
Boy, play rarely called the man in motion.
No, that's Aaron Boone right there. Who said, and you can see he just starts too early. And that's going to hurt because now they're on the 11-yard line. You only have 5 seconds left. So this ball has to come out quick. You have to either throw a quick slant or a fade. That's all you really have time for in order to save some time on the clock and get a field goal at least out of this. But they've got to get some points.
As you saw from that last graphic, a relatively penalty-free first half.
Too much time.
And incomplete. 1 second remaining.
Wow.
We do have one final tick on the clock.
Wow. I thought the time was going to run out. You got to know that there's only 5 seconds left. And that's what Gruden is saying right there. There's only 5 seconds left. And the guy steps up and throws the ball. And you can see him counting. You can see, when does this clock start? It should start right on the snap. You can see it doesn't tick off until he takes a full 5-step drop.
So I would say the scorekeepers are now tied in this series between the Predators and the Brigade. Gruden thinking this half should be over, and Porter saying, well, all right, we've had some clock issues all season long.
And now a decision has to be made by Kansas City. Do you take one more play and try to score a touchdown, or do you take 3 points?
No, I go for the touchdown. Honestly, field goals have been troublesome anyway. Your field goal kicker is only 2 of 7. And you're down this many points. I'm not sure a field goal does you much good.
Right, and you've got to play to win. When you're 3-11, you've got to show your team that you've got confidence in them still to make plays. The problem is, though, you're playing with a new quarterback. And he's still not used to playing with these wide receivers. The timing is not there. He's still thinking in his mind because he's only been here a couple of weeks, so he doesn't really know the system that well. And now you're asking him to come in and make a huge play for you.
Unless there's a penalty, this will be the final play of this first half.
If you're the Predators, you play deep here. Force that ball to be thrown in front of you and just make the tackle. The half's over.
Filyaw throws it to the end line. Uh-oh, there is a penalty. McIntyre was there. And he might have interfered with Rob Johnson. He doesn't believe the call.
We'll do the
28 defense. That's a half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
So they're going to have.
We will extend the period with an untimed down.
That's where they got McIntyre right there. He's just way too early with his hands. He read the route perfectly, but instead of believing what he saw and just jumping it, he was hesitant about it, trying to keep everything in front of him, and just was there too early.
So even though the clock shows 0, this will be a play run on an untimed down. They'll extend this first half. Filyaw looks to the wing. Now throws it back that way. It's picked off. And no further advance by Jayce. Now that will do it for the Predators and for the Brigade in this first half. As the Brigade could not score, they had several opportunities, and Jay Gruden and his team go off smiling into the locker room. This game certainly well within their grasp now as they have a great first half.
And what a tremendous series by the Predators defense. Great job by Shell reading the play, but not only that play, but that entire series, them being able to keep Kansas City out of the end zone after the interception and the adversity. They came out, did a great job of keeping Kansas City out of the end zone. Let's get you down on the field to Danny Boatwright, who's standing by with Jay Gruden.
Thanks, Dave. Coach, you had to be pleased with your production on offense in the first half.
Yeah, we are. We've had blown protection on the interception last drive of the half, but defense responded, got a big stop, and we're happy where we are. Obviously, we've got 30 more minutes to become Southern Division champs.
There's a lot on the line for this game. Good luck in the next half.
There is. We need to rest, so we got to get this victory.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot. This crowd here in Kansas City looks a bit stunned. They have come out in support of this team all season long, and better than 15,000 on hand here tonight. But tonight it is a game that belongs to Orlando. They lead 35-13 at the half.
In competition, injuries happen. It's part of the game. And to get back your level of performance takes a lot of hard work, discipline, and the best health care. Health South is the nation's leading provider of outpatient diagnostic, surgery, and rehabilitation services. So we can help you get back fast to the action, the competition, and the glory. We know your body. We understand your spirit. We get you back.
I woke up in the middle of the night, terrified. Someone tried to come in my house. Fortunately, we had an ADT security system.
Mrs. Parker, this is ADT. We're receiving an alarm. Are you all right?
Yes, we're okay. I'm glad ADT was there, watching out for my family.
Don't take chances. Take control of your family's safety with ADT, America's #1 security company. Call now and save up to $200 on ADT protection packages. ADT, always there.
Nothing brings us together better than a football game. In today's fast-paced, high-tech world, a football game is still a great way for neighbors to be neighbors and for kids to make new friends. The importance of community is just one of the lessons we learned from this great game of football. The AFL is proud to partner with USA Football to help make youth football a fun way to learn the game of life.
Welcome to the Champs Sports Halftime Report, the official athletic retailer of the AFL. Stop by your local Champs Sports store to hook up with the latest styles in footwear, apparel, accessories, and official AFL team gear. To find a store nearest you, log on to champsports.com today. All season long, we've been showing you some of the top plays in AFL history, and tonight we go to number 12.
The Arena Football League presents the 20 Greatest Highlights Countdown. Number 6. In 2005, quarterback Tony Graziani of the Philadelphia Soul fired 6 touchdown passes against Nashville, including this unforgettable throw.
Graziani trip, just throws it up for Smith. Catch! Smith to the final touchdown! Graziani, like Houdini, finds Smith. He threw that one almost off of his back. Now that was amazing. I've seen Graziani make a lot of throws, but never one from that kind of body position. I don't even know if he saw Steve Smith on that. He just threw it out there knowing where Smith would be.
Philadelphia captured a 59-48 victory thanks to the pinpoint passing of Tony Graziani. Tune in again next week as the AFL's 20 Greatest Highlights Countdown continues.
Wow, what a play here. Orlando leading 35-13. This has been our Champs Sports Halftime Report, and we'll have more of our Champs Sports Halftime Report when we come back. We'll show you first half highlights from Kemper Arena in Kansas City. It's all Orlando right now.
We're America's largest refiner.
And some of the vehicles we fuel don't travel on roads. For those that do, we make some of the cleanest gasoline on the planet, and every drop is performance guaranteed. And our employees contribute over 200,000 hours a year in our communities. We know you probably don't think about these things when you think of Valero. That's okay, just as long as when you do think of us, you think of this. Valero, the energy to take you anywhere.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
All over St. Louis, people are fed up with ugly, dark algae roof stains. Frederick's Roof Restore system removes those ugly roof stains with one Roof Restore treatment.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Poker Superstars 3 on FSN. The kings and queens of poker royalty face off in a star-studded duel competing for over $1.2 million. Poker giants are ready for their close-ups. Who will be the last one standing?
Yes!
Poker Superstars 3, tonight on FSN.
It's poker, baby.
For the first time in Idol history, Fox Reality, the all-reality, all-the-time network, takes you backstage for a little extra. A little American Idol extra.
Someone were crying backstage. It was really sad.
We pick up with a voting left off and hear what they have to say. Finally, it's the whole Idol experience as Fox Reality goes behind the scenes every week.
This is incredible.
American Idol Extra, a Fox Reality original with encore performances all weekend.
Welcome back to the Champ Sports Halftime Report. Halftime, Kemper Arena in Kansas City. Orlando with a 35-13 advantage over the Brigade. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong along with Jayce Pearson. And Jayce, this was a half where Orlando set the pace and Kansas City fell off that pace somewhere about midway through.
Well, Orlando got it done in the first half offensively and defensively. Defensively, they held Kansas City to only 85 yards passing the entire half. And offensively, Joe Hamilton, 13 of 16, very efficient. Dudley with 2 touchdown passes. They got the running game going, and seems like everything they did offensively worked.
It certainly did. So let's show you some highlights from that first half, and both teams scored on their first possession.
They did. Joe Hamilton came out right off the bat in the first possession, went to Dudley for a touchdown, but then Kansas City and Chris Sanders came right back on their first play to Jarrell Myers for a long touchdown. Then Orlando came right back. Hamilton throws another touchdown pass to Dudley. Just too easy, and from that point, the defense took over. Interception here by DeAndrew Rubin and took it in. And defensively, they just dominated from that point, gave the ball back to their offense, and then their offensive line did a great job blocking in the run game. Idris Price takes it in around the corner, and the first half was all Orlando Predators.
Well, the Predators playing for a lot here tonight, and it shows as Orlando trying to wrap up the Southern Division, and with that, a first-round bye in the playoffs. Right now, leading at the half, 35-13. We welcome you back to the Champ Sports Halftime Report. Not much to cheer about if you're a Brigade fan, but Orlando with a lot to cheer about, leading 35-13. Jayce, let's take a look at the first half numbers, and they're going to be dramatically on the side of Orlando.
Yeah, all Orlando. Look at the total yardage, 143-86, but look at the passing numbers. Only 85 yards passing for Kansas City in the entire first half, and then time of possession, 18 minutes and 4 seconds for Orlando. They did a great job offensively, hanging on to the football, but when their defense was on the field, they did a great job taking the ball away from Kansas City, limiting what they had to work with and giving that ball back to their offense.
Orlando has the advantage in every one of those categories, including penalties.
And the biggest one, of course, is the scoreboard, up 35-13. When you dominate a half the way that they did, that's when you get a lopsided score like we have here.
Well, this has been our halftime report, brought to you by Champ Sports, the official athletic retailer of the AFL. Stop by your local Champ Sports store to hook up with the latest styles in footwear, apparel, accessories, and official AFL team gear. To find a store nearest you, log on to champsports.com today. Halftime here, Orlando leads it 35-13. We'll see if Kansas City shows any signs of life in the second half. Back to Kemper in a moment.
Here in Vegas, the action is heating up at the poker tables.
Come on, guys. Which game are we playing here? The Arena Bowl's down the street.
This June, the AFL's championship game, Arena Bowl 20, is playing Vegas. Don't miss the party. For tickets, call 1-866-AFL-TICKS.
I cannot believe I'm losing to a bunch of mascots.
Yankees, Red Sox.
The single biggest rivalry in professional sports.
These two teams don't like each other.
I think we've upgraded from a battle to a war.
86 years of domination.
A lot of people remember where they were. And of course, the Red Sox fans hate me.
The biggest comeback of all time.
They literally had nothing to lose.
And he can keep on running to New York.
And the hatred lives on. Red Sox, Yankees. The ultimate rivalry, Monday only on FSN.
A must-see award-winning series.
Draw song!
This one is for all soccer fans.
He's done it again!
FSC brings you Dream Team. England's sexiest and hottest drama goes behind the scenes of a professional soccer team. A sizzling drama that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
You look here!
Dream Team, Thursdays on Fox Soccer Channel.
He's trying to kill me.
Oh my God.
Welcome back to Kansas City, Kemper Arena, the opening kickoff of the second half. As Terrell Myers takes it up to the 4-yard line, Kevin Nagel able to stop him there. And now we're going to take a look at Raymond Filyaw starting the second half. He came on for Chris Sanders in the first half and was pretty ineffective, but you have to consider this guy's been hurt. He hasn't played. He's in a new offense, and there is a lot of rust.
Oh, there's no question there's a lot of rust. He was only 1 of 6 passing in the first half, so he's got the timing's not there with the wide receivers, so they're using this as just in a practice basically, and to see what he can do and hopefully build for the future.
Pass completed on the wing to Sam Simmons and Jayce there for the stop. I think that was a good call on first down there for the Brigade. Just a nice quick out, something to just try to get some timing going.
Just to get him settled down. You can see his eyes right there. He's still pretty excited about being out there. And you know, when you haven't played in a while, everything is moving 100 miles an hour. So his head is spinning right now.
Can the defensive players see those eyes the way we can? Do they
question.
see how big they are, like saucers, and say, oh, this guy's playing a little scared right now?
No question. And those guys up front, I'm sure they want to get up the field and get some pressure on him. And then that's just going to add to the nervousness and make his feet a little jumpy and jittery and hopefully cause some turnovers.
And a flag on that last play. Dennis Lipsky is our referee tonight. He'll sort things out. Sitting over there with the line judge, Darrell Leftwich. Again, not many penalties called in this game.
Personal foul, face mask, number 11 on a defense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
It's Charlie Davidson.
Yeah, it took him a long time to make this call. You can see Davidson, he's being held and just reaches out and, you know, he grabs the shoulder pad. He never actually grabs the face mask. He just hits it. So that's probably what all that discussion was about. A lot of uncertainty there.
You get the sense as the head kind of spun around for Sam Simmons a little bit when Davidson made contact. You wonder if that line judge maybe saw the head spin and just assumed that he was up near that face mask. He was, but he didn't grab it. Now we've got flags flying once again. And this time offsides. False start.
Offense.
That's the center,
5 yards,
Yarnell.
still first down.
Lucas Yarnell, who played at Louisiana Lafayette, but grew up in Topeka, Kansas, which is about an hour from here. Lucas Yarnell was in that Adam Sandler movie, wasn't it? The Longest Yard?
The Longest Yard. He sure it was.
I've not seen it yet, but I hear he was greatly featured in that. I'm not sure what that means, but somebody told me you got to check it out. B.J. Cohen able to make the catch. Good block by Yarnell, the aforementioned Yarnell, and this ball goes down to the 15-yard line.
And these are the kind of plays that you want to run for a new quarterback to try to get him settled down. We saw the early short throw on the first play of the half, but here's just a screen to B.J. Cohen, an easy throw, and hopefully just get him in a rhythm, get him calmed down, get him settled. But the guy that's got to step up is right there, Aaron Boone, number 12.
Hands of Rob Johnson.
Again, it's tough for receivers too when you've got a different quarterback in, but because the ball comes out differently, it's one guy throws harder than the other. You can see that's a catchable ball. It should be caught, but a lot of times with a different quarterback, you're seeing the ball coming at a different pace.
Jayce, I thought in a sense, and I'm not trying to bail out Rob Johnson here, but that ball was thrown while he's making his cut. And again, it's the timing from the quarterback to the receiver.
Oh, no question.
A split second longer, and Johnson has a better look at that pass.
Yeah, but as a wide receiver, you get two hands on that ball. It's got to be caught.
I agree. This one is caught by Sam Simmons, and he's got enough for the first down.
Just another easy throw. Sam Simmons just runs that quick out from the slot. Gets enough for the first down. But the reason I said a few plays ago that Aaron Boone has got to step up is he's been a big play guy for this offense. He was the AFL Rookie of the Month this past month. And his first 3 games out, I mean, it looked like the guy was unstoppable. But since then, the past couple games, they haven't been big games. But he's got to step up and make some plays.
Now Simmons with a cutback and on into the end zone for the touchdown. Good blocking downfield, and Simmons goes in for the score.
And again, an easy throw for Philyaw. Just a quick screen outside to Sam Simmons and let Sam do the rest of the work. And watch number 12 up there, Aaron Boone. A good block by Aaron Boone, keeping his defender away and allows Sam Simmons to just weave his way down all the way into the end zone.
So Simmons able to score, but he's got to give a big tip of the hat, or of the helmet in this case, to Aaron Boone. Now Homebrecker for the point after, and it's good. So the first touchdown pass for Philyaw in a Kansas City uniform. And the Brigade on the board to start the second half. Well, the Brigade able to get on the board. Nice block by Aaron Boone to set Sam Simmons free.
And you're going to see Sam Simmons is the guy in motion, but the people that make the play is Aaron Boone and Rob Johnson, the other 2 wide receivers. Great job of blocking down the field and allow Sam Simmons enough room just to weave his way into the end zone. But that's a great job by Aaron Boone, number 12 right there, and Rob Johnson blocking down the field.
You know, you were talking about Aaron Boone. His production maybe not up where it was in the month of April, where he was the AFL Rookie of the Month. But you wonder, too, if other teams are now starting to look at the production he had in April and designing their defenses to try to stop Aaron Boone.
Well, there's not a lot of that in arena football. A lot of it is just man-to-man, and he's got to win.
What a tough play there. A nice kickoff by Homebrecker. And the ball was caught, but John Booth came in right at the goal line to make the stop.
John Booth hustles down. You get those crazy bounces off the net. You can see it's caught right there by Frizzell, and Booth just actually pushes him down. If he was thinking more as a defender, he'd try to strip this ball out of there instead of just pushing him down and try to create a turnover.
Well, they put the ball on the 2.5-yard line to start the offense for the Predators. Good play by Booth. That's the reason he's smiling. So here comes Orlando, leading by 15 points. They have scored every time they've touched the ball offensively. Handled. We'll throw this one up into the crowd for a souvenir. efficient first half. Efficiency is his middle name. You see 13 of 17, 123 yards, which takes him up over Jay Gruden's single season record.
And what they can't do is relax because they had such a big lead at halftime. They've got to come out and stay aggressive, keep their focus, keep their poise, and turn it on still. Keep it on.
This pass is caught on the wing by Dudley. He fights for the first down up to the 14-yard line. Sam Simmons finally brought him down there.
We saw Sam Simmons play offense and do a great job, but now he's got to line up and play defense, and that's something that he's not really accustomed to doing. And when we talked to Coach Gruden earlier in the week, he said whenever number 7 Simmons is out there on defense, we're going to go at him repeatedly. So let's see if they do that and see who gets the better end of that matchup.
Quick hitter to Frizzell. He goes across midfield. Another first down for Orlando. He takes it down to the 22 of Kansas City.
First down, Orlando. Scores from around the AFL.
Gruden's team, he knows that if his team can just keep putting points on the board every time they have the ball, there is no way then the Brigade can catch up. That's why he's smiling, knowing that prize of winning the Southern Division is less than a half away. Hamilton off his back foot to a wide open Jimmy Frizzell. Travis Coleman beaten on the play, and Hamilton with yet another touchdown pass.
And what a great job by Hamilton, sitting in the pocket, knowing the pressure is coming, keeping his eyes down the field. And you're going to see Frizzell, he's just going to freeze Coleman right there with that out move and come back across the field, and it's a mismatch. He's got 4 yards on Travis Coleman.
That was one of those where he had a two-way play again, right? He could have gone either way he wanted.
And that's been the problem for the secondary of Kansas City. Their technique just hasn't been very good. You've got to take something away. You can't afford to give a guy a two-way go on you.
If you're the quarterback, Hamilton, you're just waiting to see which way is Frizzell going to beat the guy. You know he's going to beat him. You just don't know which way.
And they knew that that was going to be there tonight. The key was going to be having enough time, and the offensive line gave Hamilton enough time on that play.
So Jimmy Frizzell, he scores a touchdown for the Predators. They match the touchdown of the Brigade and maintain their dominance, leading by 22.
Aaron's sells more high-definition widescreen TVs than just about anybody else in America. It's the sign of a great deal. Aaron's has the widescreen and LCD flat-panel TVs that everybody wants, all at the price everybody wants, the guaranteed lowest price. Aaron's also sells brand-new, brand-name furniture, appliances, and computers at the guaranteed lowest price. No credit check and the most flexible payment plans. So picture yourself getting your next TV at Aaron's. Do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's.
Here in Vegas, the action's heating up at the Arena Football Celebrity Table.
Let's go, Coach. Hey, pipe down, poker brat. I bet 100. Make it 300.
He cannot do that.
Illegal procedure, Ditka.
What'd I do?
Personal foul, Ditka.
What are you talking about?
You're out of here.
You're not.
This June, the AFL's championship game, Arena Bowl 20, is playing Vegas. Don't miss the party. For tickets, call 1-866-AFL-TICKS.
Go, wait.
I'll get you out of here. Security.
Nothing brings us together better than a football game. In today's fast-paced, high-tech world, a football game is still a great way for neighbors to be neighbors and for kids to make new friends. The importance of community is just one of the lessons we learned from this great game of football. The AFL is proud to partner with USA Football to help make youth football a fun way to learn the game of life.
Orlando just moments away now of wrapping up the Southern Division, leading 42-20. Jay Gruden is with us now in his 7th year with Orlando. And Jay, I'll tell you what, things have gone certainly according to plan so far tonight, haven't they?
Yeah, so far so good. You know, we still got a long way to go. Arena football, these nets and walls, anything can happen. But I like the way we started, offense and defense.
Well, Coach, offensively, you guys have been very efficient, put up 42 points so far. Is there anything that you're seeing out of this Kansas City defense that you're trying to exploit?
Well, they're having trouble covering, you know, but they have a great pass rush, but they don't cover very well. So, you know, I'm trying to mix in the quick game, and then when we do take a shot, our receivers doing a great job of getting open and taking advantage of the calls. Just like Jimmy Frizzell, we ran a couple three-step drops on that drive, and then we took a shot on a corner post with Jimmy, and it worked out great.
Because of a shoulder injury to Joe Hamilton, how much more are we going to see of him tonight? Will you maybe try to rest him or wait till next week?
Oh, yeah, make sure we get the game in hand first. You know, Greg White hurt his shoulder, and that's a major concern for us. But we got to make sure we got this game, and here they go right now. So we got a long way to go.
Sam Simmons with a cutback, and he'll go in for the score. The first touchdown run back of the year for Kansas City on a kickoff.
And what about the patience by Sam Simmons to allow his blockers to get back in front of him? Most guys, especially young guys, that just try to outrun everybody. Simmons does a great job getting by that first line of defense right there, but then watch the patience. Look at him slow down, allow his blockers to get back in front of him, use them, and then get back to the outside. Great job of running by Sam Simmons.
John Booth was one of the men leading the charge there, and Simmons able to score. The point after is good. So a quick strike by the Brigade as they score on a kickoff for the first time this year. It's still Orlando with a lead, 42-27.
Come into any Aaron Sales and Lease ownership store and you'll find brand new, brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers. Always at the guaranteed lowest price, whether you buy or lease to own, and no credit checks. So, do the math. Nobody beats Aaron's.
Do the math.
Nobody
beats Aaron's.
Respect for others has to be a part of every team's game plan. Make sure your kids listen to their coaches and respect the decisions of the officials. Remind them that win or lose, they must treat their opponents as they would want to be treated. This will make them better players and part of a better team. Sportsmanship is just one of the lessons we learn from this great game of football. The AFL is proud to partner with USA Football to help make youth football a fun way to learn the game of life.
Well, we welcome you back now to an excited Kemper Arena in Kansas City as the Brigade just run back a kickoff for a touchdown for the first time this year. And now they're all up smiling and dancing and having a good time. But still, it's Orlando who may be doing the final dance here tonight. The Predators, they have certainly been dominant on both sides of the ball here tonight. And Mackenzie Homebrecker will kick things off. They go for the onside kick, and it's covered by Kenny McIntyre, and he goes down at the 5. There is a flag on the play right at the goal line.
Offside, number 93 of the kicking team, half the distance to the goal. First down.
So Orlando in great field position. Now they'll have it at the 2.5-yard line. Michael Landry was the man called for the offside. So Sam Simmons will come back defensively. First kickoff return in franchise history. His name will go in forever into the record books for the Brigade. First and goal, Orlando. Hamilton. There's Frizzell, and another touchdown for Jimmy Frizzell, his second straight.
And again, they go back to the same route that's worked 2 other times tonight, and that's just a quick out by that slot, and Kansas City hasn't figured it out yet. Watch Frizzell come up, and they're going to run a pick route right here. He's just going to run outside of Dudley, and nobody can get through it. Then you see Sam Simmons as well as Travis Coleman trying to run and play catch-up, and there's just not enough room.
That could be a byproduct, Jayce, of the Brigade having so many guys playing out of position right now.
Well, they've got to communicate that, and they've got to pass that off and trade the guys there. And again, you get inexperienced guys there. They don't know exactly what to do.
So now Jay Taylor on for the point after, and again, it's perfect. And it's 49-27 in favor of the Predators. Back to a 22-point advantage for Orlando. And we're back to Kemper Arena in Kansas City in just a moment.
The Arena Football League presents the 20 Greatest Highlights Countdown. Number 6. In 2005, quarterback Tony Graziani of the Philadelphia Soul fired 6 touchdown passes against Nashville, including this unforgettable throw.
Graziani tripped, just throws it up for Smith. Catch! Smith to the 5, touchdown! Graziani, like Houdini, finds Smith.
He threw that one almost off of his back. Now that was amazing. I've seen Graziani make a lot of throws, but never one from that kind of body position. I don't even know if he saw Steve Smith on that. He just threw it out there knowing where Smith would be.
Philadelphia captured a 59-48 victory thanks to the pinpoint passing of Tony Graziani. Tune in again next week as the AFL's 20 Greatest Highlights Countdown continues.
We welcome you back to Kemper Arena, where Orlando leads Kansas City 49-27. A man who needs no introduction here in Kansas City, or in Denver for that matter, around the NFL. Neil Smith joins us now, former All-Pro defensive lineman with the Chiefs and the Broncos, and now part owner of the Brigade.
Thank you.
Welcome. And
Thank
I'll tell you what,
much.
the fan support this year has been absolutely terrific for the Brigade all season long.
Yes, it have. We're very proud of it, you know, to say that we've been consistently selling out over the year, and we feel real good about having the opportunity to represent the league this year in the most outstanding way we have, because the fans love it, and we just giving them what they want. That's a great show.
Here we are in our final home game, a team that's 3-11, and yet you still have more than 15,000 on hand for this game. That says a lot about the fan support.
Absolutely. It's been a learning process for us, but yet, we were definitely doing the right thing to try to make the fans come back for more. We'll win some ball games here down the road.
Well, Myers, and this team has played better, hasn't it, Neil? I mean, 2-2 in the last 4 games. And you're starting to figure out what the landscape is going to look like for next season.
Well, we are. We've done a lot of, getting some great guys that's up front to start off with. And now we're just looking forward to going out and grab some guys to put in some different spots at the cornerback position in the secondary. And we look at that spot, and we just have to look for great guys that can come out and really play both ways for this ball club. And we headed in the right direction. We feel real good about this year.
Why did you decide to get involved in Arena League?
Well, it was brought to me. Kevin Porter was down in New Orleans, and he said you ought to check it out. It's something fun to watch, and had an opportunity to get involved with it for 2 years straight and really start search the market.
Well, Neil, there are a lot of former NFL guys that we played against or involved and with. Ron Jaworski in Philadelphia, Deion Sanders just bought into the Austin club, John Elway. I mean, talk about how much do you guys talk about arena football?
Well, we talk a lot. I tell you what, it's great that John came in and really represented, and Ron Jaworski and now Deion Sanders. But I think, those guys, I feel real good about those guys being a part of it, because it makes the league. And I tell you, everybody's real excited about, having to be a part of it and make this league bigger and better, and that's why we're here.
Aaron Boone's been a nice pickup for you guys.
Yeah, only if I can get him signed here in the next week. I tell you, Aaron Boone is definitely, we traded for this guy in the middle of the season, and he stepped up tremendously, and we're very proud of him. He's a big OS guy. He can go out on the field and get the ball, and that's what we need.
Tough guy to bring down, too.
He is. He's a very tough individual, and you know what? He matched up pretty good with a lot of guys, but he's real tough, mental tough.
Well, it's been a terrific thing here in Kansas City, a great addition to what Kansas City offers to this sporting community. Congratulations on all the success you guys have had this season.
Well, thanks a lot. I'm glad you guys had an opportunity to bring me up. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us,
Neil Smith. And an absolute legend here in Kansas City.
Former teammate of mine and a great player. And had his jersey retired by the Brigade earlier this year. As you can see, the running play by Dozart here. And again, Aaron Boone making a block down the field. We've seen him do that a number of times tonight, but
now it looks like a partially busted play, and now a flag comes in late as Phil Yaw stopped right at the goal line.
You know, going back to Neil Smith and, you know, all those guys, Deion Sanders earlier in the week made the comment that he's the only owner now that can actually go down and line up and play.
28 is defense. Half the distance to the goal will repeat, first down.
And I don't know, Neil Smith still looks like he's in pretty good shape, and I think he can give you a pass rush or two.
I do too.
It's just the offensive side that you'd have to worry about.
So first and goal for the Brigade. Clock winding down here in the third quarter. Kansas City's done a nice job in moving the ball offensively here in the second half under the guidance of Raymond Philyaw. Again, nothing doing here for Philyaw. Stopped right at the goal line. Reggie Lee was there.
And here's where Chris Sanders was so effective and so valuable for this team, because he would seem to find a way to run that ball in the end zone. He did it earlier in this ball game and gave them 13 rushing touchdowns on the season. And they're sorely missing that right now. They've got to get this ball in the end zone.
The last play, a loss of a yard or so. So second and goal, back to the 2. Myers goes in motion. Quick toss, and stumbling his way back to the 2-yard line is Byron Dozart. He was hit by his own guy from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Brian Henderson, but the reason why is Reggie Lee, number 99, just blew Brian Henderson up and pushed him deep into the backfield and right into Dozart. And you're going to see right here, number 99 on 99 at the end. Look right there, just a great job by Reggie Lee of bull rushing Henderson and pushes him right back into Dozart.
Dozart, one of several outstanding rookies for this Brigade team. Going to throw it this time, and they throw it successfully for the touchdown. Aaron Boone has now caught a touchdown pass in 6 straight games.
And what a throw by Ray Philyaw. That thing was on a rope from the short side of the field. He throws it all the way across the field on an out route. That very rarely ever happens. You see Boone in the slot. He just runs that out, and look how far that ball has to travel on a rope. And good thing Davidson didn't have his head turned.
And they've been picking on Davidson all game long, and they pick on him again. But you're right about Philyaw's arm strength there. The extra point is good. Humbreckers made them all but one here tonight. So Philyaw able to smile a little bit and relax a little bit, and the eyes don't look quite so wide open.
But now they've got to get more possessions, and you can expect an onside kick again coming up for Kansas City, because they obviously defensively they've not been able to stop Orlando's offense, so they've got to try to get this ball back any way possible, and you've got to know that or expect that they're going to onside kick it here.
Trying to shorten this game a little bit. Let's take a look at our Shut Sports top 12 poll from week 15. The Desperados and Orlando right there tied for 3rd. You can tell when talking to Jay Gruden, the only thing they really are looking for is an Arena Bowl victory. Everything else is really secondary in their mindset.
It really is. And he says they're in a drought. They haven't won the Arena Bowl since 2000. And he said, hey, we're way overdue. We're in a drought right now. And, you know, that shows you what kind of mentality he has. They expect to win. And that's a big word, expect. They don't just hope to win. They expect to win every year. And that's why they've been in the playoffs, or he's been in the playoffs, both as a player and a coach, for 15 straight seasons.
Yeah, every year he's been in the Arena League, he's the player or coach, he has been to the playoffs. And again, they try the onside kick, and again, it's McIntyre who covers, and again, there's a flag at the goal line, probably another offside.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because they recovered that ball. Idris Price touched that football.
Offside, number 92 of the kicking team. Although the kicking team recovered the ball, it'll be turned over to Orlando, half the distance to the goal, first to the goal.
Well, how about that? That's
a huge penalty.
That is a huge penalty by Gillis Wilson. You've got to know where the ball is, and you can't leave too early. You can see him down at the bottom of your screen. He just leaves too early. And you can see the ball hits Price #2, and Kansas City recovers. That would have been a huge play for Kansas City.
That's the way the third quarter comes to a close. Tough penalty there on Wilson that causes Kansas City a big possession. So after 3 quarters, Orlando running away with things, leading 49-34.
Welcome back to Las Vegas and the Arena Football Celebrity Table. Coach Ditka has the hand to beat. Let's see how poker champ Phil Hellmuth plays it.
I'm all in.
Bluffing, Coach?
Pocket Kings, go Kings!
I fold. Thanks, ladies.
Don't you girls have a game to go to?
Well, Coach, this June, the AFL's championship game, Arena Bowl 20, is playing Vegas. Don't miss the party. For tickets, call 1-866-AFL-TICKS.
Today's vehicles are a lot more complicated than they used to be.
So are their tires.
We've tried going to department stores, warehouse outlets, our auto dealer for new tires.
But for a great selection and a great everyday price, we go to the tire pros at Dobbs.
They helped us choose the right tires for our vehicle.
They know all about correct speed rating, load capacity, and tire pressure monitoring systems to help keep us safe on the road.
It just makes sense. Don't trust your tires to just anyone.
Trust the tire pros at Dobbs.
Dobbs, you know us. We know tires.
You can't ignore it forever. It's your future. It's real life. Whatever your goals may be, it's important to get real answers from people you know and trust. At Country Insurance and Financial Services, we'll help you feel secure for everything life has coming your way. Country, real answers for real financial security. Because this is real life.
This is our country. This week on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Actor and comedian Dennis Leary chimes in on why the Red Sox are ready to win another championship this year. New York's Jalen Rose talks about playoff basketball and gives his inside opinion on how to fix the Knicks. And authors of the controversial Barry Bonds book step out of the shadows to answer questions about steroid use in baseball.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This week at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern.
The AFL is presented by Champ Sports, official athletic retailer of the Arena Football League. By Las Vegas, home of Arena Bowl 20, Sunday, June 11th. And by EA Sports Arena Football. Football is more fun indoors. With J.C. Pearson and Danny Boatwright, our sideline reporter, I'm Dave Armstrong. Watching the Brigade and the Predators. And right now, as we start the fourth quarter, it's Orlando with a commanding 49-34 lead. Plus, they have the ball on the 2-yard line. Just 2 yards from pay dirt once again for Joe Hamilton and Orlando. They have scored every time they've had the ball offensively, except once when they had a pass picked off on a deflection. And there's another touchdown play as Hamilton able to go back into the end zone, this time to his tight end, Henry Taylor.
And what about that catch by Henry Taylor? You know, big guy. You don't think he has good hands, a 300-pounder, but look at him. He's got a defender all over him, and check out that catch. He goes way down and gets both hands on it. That's a great catch, especially for a guy that's 300 pounds.
Man, that's a terrific catch for anybody. So the Predators score 50 or more points again. They've done it now 6 out of the last 7 games. Of course, last week the exception against Colorado. And I would say right now, JC, the way the Predators are playing, they are going to be a real force in the playoffs.
Oh, no question about it, especially after a bye. It gives their guys a chance to heal and get their legs fresh and get some adrenaline pumping, and playing at home also in that first game where they are very, very tough to beat. They won 18 of their last 20 home games, and they've got the best home record of any team so far this season. They're going to be tough.
Well, Frizzell is really developed. Javaris Dudley has developed, the rookie. Jerry and James is playing well. And also, if they can get Jeroy Johnson back and get him off the injured reserve list. That's going to help their defensive secondary a ton. Offense is really clicking. Joe Hamilton playing well here tonight, and you wonder how much more he's going to play in this particular contest because he is nursing a sore shoulder. Now he'll have next week to rest if they so choose, as they'll have the game against Austin, and we kind of feel like right now Orlando has this game well in hand, and with it a first-round bye and the clinching of the Southern Division in the AFL.
And that's why this game was so important to them, because they didn't want to have to go into next week having to win that game in order to get that bye and all the pressure that puts on their team. They wanted to knock that out, get that over with the win here today, and now they can relax. And you can see Gruden there smiling a little bit. They feel good, and then they can relax next week, even though they've got a game, but then they've got the bye after that.
Jay Taylor again kicking off. Well, he has been so accurate kicking it through the uprights. Remember, Simmons has one touchdown run. Boy, very close to breaking free once again. Stopped by Jayce.
Wow, almost another big return by Sam Simmons. And, you know, Simmons does a great job of just breaking through that first wall of defenders. He waits, and he sees a crease, and then he just jumps right through it. And then after that, there's only one or two guys left to beat. And that time, he got tackled on a shoestring tackle. But watch him jump through the first line of defenders. Here, he's going to look for a crack, and once he sees it, he explodes right there, jumps through it, and unfortunately he gets caught with the shoestring tackle.
Filiaw going deep, to the aforementioned Simmons, and it was just out of his reach.
They try to get Sam Simmons coming all the way across, and Filiaw does a good job standing in there throwing the ball. It looks like Simmons may have just lost sight of that ball a little bit. He didn't have his hands turned the right way to try to catch that ball that's out in front of him.
Yeah, he looked up after he missed that ball and looked at Filiaw and said, "That's my bad."
Yeah, he's got to turn his hands over and try to get under that ball.
In and out of the hands here. Gillis Wilson, who is normally a guard, and they kind of tried to trick play here and used him as a tight end.
And now you see how good a hands that Henry Taylor had for Orlando, another big guy who caught the touchdown. Now Kansas City tries to throw the ball to one of their big guys, Gillis Wilson, and it's thrown right to him, and he just beats it up. He just knocks it down.
Now, one of the things you have to do in the Arena League is identify your tight end. He's got to raise his hand as he comes to the line of scrimmage, so they were able to identify him, but they probably didn't take it seriously.
And you see why.
Another pass right on target to Simmons, right into the breadbasket. Jayce was there defensively, but that'll move the chains across midfield to the 21 of Orlando.
And what the Predators are doing, just let the ball be thrown in front of them, come up, make the tackle. Don't give up any easy throws over the top for quick scores. Make Kansas City have to work, put 5, 6, 7 play drives together, because what it does is, as they're offsides, but what it does is it eats up the clock.
Offsides against Jay Gruden's Predators. He's still clapping, though. Because again, you're right. He's playing a time game right now. And he doesn't mind, really, even if Kansas City scores. Not that he likes it, but he doesn't mind as long as it takes a lot of time off the clock.
Exactly. The clock is their ally.
Nice pass is caught on the wing by Rob Johnson, and a good run after the catch down to the 6.
Rob Johnson, a bigger receiver. He's got an advantage over these smaller defensive backs. You can see just straight arms number 21, Jayce, and just turns it up the field and gets as many yards as he can get. But now we're going to see if Filiaw can use his legs also. This is an area where Kansas City likes to run the ball with their quarterback.
Couldn't do it from the 2-yard line earlier on. Straight drop for Filiaw. Eludes a tackle and then throws it away. Now a flag is down in the end zone.
That's normally in the area where they're going to get a holding call on a defensive back, but you can see Filiaw getting a lot of pressure, just throws the ball away.
Dennis Lipsky, our referee. They're already moving the ball closer to the goal.
A lot of conversations tonight, huh, with the referees, like they're unsure about the call or the spot, but it takes them a long time for some reason tonight to make the calls.
This one might be against Kansas City.
Unsportsmanlike penalty, number 12 on the offense. Ran his pattern and ran into the umpire. That's a 10-yard penalty. We'll repeat first down.
Well,
wait a minute.
What do you mean you ran the route and ran into the umpire? He's not looking. He's got his head turned around looking for the football. That's the first time I've ever seen that call.
I've never heard that call before. He ran into the umpire, Rick Nelson.
I mean, the umpire's on the field. He's part of the field. It's his job to get out of the way.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
They're going to throw it back to Aaron Boone. He was open, but the pass was behind him.
And now, not only do you have to worry about where the defensive backs are, you've got to worry about where the referees are, so you don't run into them and get a penalty, huh?
Yeah, your head's really on a swivel.
I've never, ever seen that called.
That's second down. And the ball at the 16-yard line. It is second and goal from here, by the way. Philyaw looking at pressure and throws it back to our favorite fan in the front row. Pressure came from Kevin Nagel.
I'll tell you, the defensive line of Orlando doing a great job getting up the field, and they're really controlling line of scrimmage. They're putting pressure on Kansas City's quarterback, Philyaw, almost on every play, and they've got him backing up, trying to throw the ball. He doesn't really have a lot of time to look down the field.
So third and goal from the 16. And again, this is chewing up a lot of clock. They dump it down to Simmons. He eludes one tackle and takes it down to the 6-yard line. He's going to bring up fourth and goal from there. Kenny McIntyre was there in to make the stop. James was also in on the play.
And that's exactly where Orlando wanted the ball to be thrown. They'll give you those short crossing patterns and come up and make the tackle because they know that it was third down, and now you're in fourth down and you've got to try to score. So, you know, you just line up, you play smart, and those guys have done a great job of that tonight.
I'm going to throw it to Simmons on the flat, and this is going nowhere fast. Lynn J. Shell was right there defensively to sniff it out.
Oh, on fourth down, that's not where you want to throw the ball. You've got to try to get it into the end zone.
So Philyaw does not convert this time for the Brigade, and again Kansas City turns it over on downs. Back in a moment. Well, Joe Hamilton, his work done for the night, already putting the ice on that injured shoulder, trying to keep that in good shape. There's his line on the night, 18 of 22, 175 yards. That one interception, it came on a deflected pass. So he throws 4 touchdowns here tonight.
Yeah, very good game, efficient game for Joe Hamilton.
Now Jake Eaton takes his place. Eaton with a quick handoff to Moye Moore. And he's able to get a nice gain on first down on a running play. Here's Joe Hamilton's night. He started off with some early strikes to Javaris Dudley. Back-to-back plays to Dudley. And then goes up top to Jimmy Frizzell. And what a catch there by Henry Taylor. Completes the 4-touchdown night for Joe Hamilton. So already starting to celebrate that Southern Division Championship for Orlando. 8 minutes away. Moye Moore again running. Again keeping that clock rolling. As he picks up the first down. Cartwheeled out by Travis Coleman near midfield, and a flag on the play. This is going against Orlando, it looks like. And again, a long-term discussion by the officials as to what to do once the penalty is called.
Number 70, offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. We'll repeat second down.
I can see the reason for the long discussion. Jake Eaton is the new quarterback, a rookie out of Maine. Hasn't gotten much playing time this year. You can see just 3 touchdowns on the year, only 131 yards. Great pass rating.
Yeah, and throwing very many passes this year, only 19 passes. He played the entire fourth quarter last week when Joey Hamilton's shoulder started bothering him and had a couple interceptions.
I have a suspicion that he might play a lot next week. Well, that's going to help your pass efficiency. Rubin with a nice run after the catch. Remember, Rubin was knocked silly in the first half. It makes a silly type run here down to the 11.
And again, just a quick throw to Rubin outside and a missed tackle by Sam Simmons, number 7, right there. And then it's just a foot race. B.J. Cohen's not going to catch him. And it took Travis Coleman to come all the way from the other side of the field and knock Rubin out of bounds.
Jim Sedano with a nice block coming over from the guard position. Well, 1st and 10 from the 11. Predators, no, they're going to have a first-round bye in the playoffs. Frizzell with a nice catch inside the 5, down to the 4 or 3-yard line. Aaron Dozart makes the stop. So congratulations. We'll just go ahead and crown them Southern Division champs. Congratulations to Jay Gruden and the Predators, especially when you consider where they come from. Earlier in the year, about midway through, they were a question mark as to whether they'd even be involved in the playoffs.
You got to credit Gruden and the way that he coaches and the style he replaces players every year. I mean, to get to the playoffs, every year that you've been a player or a coach says something that you're doing something right with your player evaluations. As we see Moye Moore almost get into the end zone.
He's in. Touchdown, Moye Moore.
Wow. How about that on a run? Again, they just throw that quick pitch out to Moye Moore. He lets all of the pursuit go by him, turns inside and just runs over a guy, stretches out and gets into the end zone. And when you can run the ball in your running game, and we talked about Orlando being such a good running team, but when you can run the ball and combine that with Joe Hamilton and these receivers that he's got to throw the ball to, at times you're almost unstoppable.
Man, looking for a LeBron James fan there for a souvenir. How about LeBron last night at the NBA playoffs?
How about that?
Oof, terrific kid. Well, so too is Orlando. Terrific here tonight and piling it on. Kansas City leading 63-34.
Success rarely happens on the first try. To achieve your goals, you have to stay focused, practice hard, and learn from your mistakes. Every situation, every game presents a new challenge, but never quit. Your hard work will pay off. Perseverance is just one of the lessons we learn from this great game of football. The AFL is proud to partner with USA Football to help make youth football a fun way to learn the game of life.
Baseball fans know the home of the Cardinals is FSN Midwest. And this season is like no other, as select Cardinals telecasts are now available in high definition. With the razor-sharp clarity of HD, you'll feel like you're at the park. Check with your local cable provider for more information and HD channel number. Visit foxsports.com, search FSN HD for the HD schedule. Don't miss the Cardinals take on the Rockies. Presented in high definition, Monday and Tuesday on FSN Midwest.
No, I don't want to give you mine, oh no. I don't want to meet you nowhere, no. I don't want none of your time. I don't want no stuff. Strive is getting no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride.
Welcome back to Kemper Arena in Kansas City, where Orlando putting the finishing touches on this game here tonight, which will clinch them the Southern Division and a first-round playoff bye. Darrell Myers back deep for the Brigade, awaiting the kick of Jay Taylor. Taylor has been uncanny tonight in putting it through the uprights more times than not. A soft spot on the net makes it more difficult for a team to return the ball. High end over end kick, and again, and this time a little bit right of the upright. Here comes Myers. And Myers hit up against the wall at the 16-yard line. Jay Gruden joins us now. And Jay, let us be the first to congratulate you on a terrific comeback this season, as you now have won, and we're going to count this one a win, 6 of your last 7. Terrific run for your team.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a great run, and we needed it. You know, we got to get this by. 16 weeks is a long season, and you know, these guys have earned the Southern Division, which I think is the toughest division in our league, and it's been a great run so far. We got a long way to go.
Well, Coach, with the bye guaranteed now, how does that affect your approach to the game next week?
Well, you know, we don't want to come out. We want to get Jeroy Johnson back in our lineup and let him get some game under him and maybe get Jake Eaton some snaps. But we still want to beat Austin. You know, we don't want to go into the playoffs limping around and heads down. We want to go in on a positive note, and beating Austin will be a great way to do it. We don't ever want to lose in front of our home crowd, so we're going to try to win every chance we can.
Jay, what was the reason for the turnaround in this season? Was it just your young guys getting more experience?
Yeah, well, everybody. You know, I've told everybody all along that, you know, anytime we play good, it's a number of guys that do it, and you can never point. We can't just point to one guy with our great success. Dudley's had a great year. Our receiving corps has been awesome. Our protection's been good. Our fullbacks have been good. Our defensive line's been steady, and our DBs have played good at times. So for us to win it all, we're going to have to get a total team effort from all 20 guys every week. And I like what I see.
Jay, it's been a terrific run for you personally. Now in your 16th year in the Arena League, you have been to the playoffs every single year. That's a remarkable accomplishment.
Well, thank you. It's a great organization here in Orlando. Ron House, our owner, is you know, giving me the opportunity to get good players, and that's all I ask for is a chance to win and be successful on the field by getting quality players in here, and he's given me that opportunity, he and Brett Bushy, and you know, hats off to them also.
Jay, again, congratulations. Good luck next weekend. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Coach.
And that's Jay Gruden, a 7th-year coach of the Orlando Predators. His team winning the Southern Division with their win here tonight.
And you know, I love his mentality. You never want to lose, even though you've got the division wrapped up, you've got a first-round bye. He says, hey, we still play to win. We play every game to win no matter what, and that's why they've been so successful.
Quick pitch out to Darrell Myers, and he's in for the touchdown. Now a little extracurricular after the play. Officials come in to separate the players as tempers flare a bit.
That's Lynn J. Shell down there that's upset and looked like he threw a punch at Siren Brown, and then the flag started to fly. I'm sure they're going to get him for that.
Lynn J. Shell.
Like he was upset. He got blocked pretty good out there by Aaron Boone, and then after the fact he went after Boone, and then he went after Siren Brown.
Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, watch at the top of the screen right there. That's Shell getting blocked by Aaron Boone. Then a little extracurricular after the fact, and there comes Siren Brown, and there's the punch by Shell. And every time you're the second guy throwing a blow, you're going to get caught.
Is that enough to cause an ejection?
I don't think so.
Just a penalty.
It's football, and emotions are high, and it's physical.
Penalty, number 21 of the defense. That 10-yard penalty will be administered after the kickoff. Please reset the game clock to 2:55. 2:55.
So again, no ejection here for Shell. They'll assess the penalty to the kickoff. And a touchdown here for Darrell Myers.
And Kansas City's, they're going to onside the kickoff anyway.
Right.
So really not that big of a deal.
Going for 2. Filial to a wide open Boone in the corner of the end zone. Two-point conversion is good for Boone and the Brigade. So we've got a timeout. Time waning for the Brigade. The Predators just 2:33 away from the Southern Division Championship.
Hey, what's up?
EA Sports, Arena Football, rated E10 for ages 10 and up. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Oh, hey, honey.
Hey. So, what have you been up to?
Nothing. So what have you guys been up to?
Nothing.
After 20 seasons of hard-hitting, high-octane, fan-friendly football, we found yet another reason to celebrate.
The Arena Football League has teamed up with Children's Miracle Network to help kids in children's hospitals. Players, coaches, staff, and owners are making a difference for kids in your community. Together, we'll make miracles happen.
This telecast is copyrighted by the Arena Football League for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the AFL's consent is strictly prohibited.
Well, we welcome you back as Boone scores on the two-point conversion after Myers scored on the touchdown, and Boone led to that with a good block on Lynn J. Shell. It's going to be too little too late, though, it looks like, for the Brigade. As Orlando just 2 minutes and 39 seconds away from wrapping up the Southern Division, and with it a first-round bye in the playoffs. And not only that, but then they get a home game guaranteed in the quarterfinals. And Orlando has been absolutely terrific in quarterfinal home games. They're 7-0 in franchise history. Let's go back to the last touchdown by Jay Gruden and his Predators.
27. Let's go left twin, 27 toss. Hey, yeah.
Second thoughts by Coach Gruden, but Moye Moore made him look good.
Sure did. After the fact, anytime it works, you're like, oh yeah, I meant to call that.
And right now, you know that the Predators just want that clock to be moving. They're going to take their time here. Idris Price able to run the ball, staying inbound. And the clock moving under 2 minutes. Sam Simmons with the stop. The Brigade still have all their timeouts remaining. This clock show should wind down to the 1 minute mark here pretty quickly. Kansas City is going to drop to 3-12 on the year. One final game for the Brigade. They travel to Utah and play Friday night. Again, the give is to Price. He's just interested in keeping that clock moving and hanging onto the ball. Ryan Henderson stops him right at the line of scrimmage. In fact, a loss of one. Now third down and 3 yards to go for the Orlando Predators. We're getting close to that 1 minute warning. They'll stop the clock at 1 minute. They're going to let it wind down to the 1 minute mark. 1 minute remaining. Orlando leading Kansas City 63-42. Greg White was heavily involved in one of the best defensive plays of the game. And one play that kind of turned things around, our ADP defensive play of the game.
See, he just hits the arm of Chris Sanders right there and forces that ball to be knocked straight up in the air. And DeAndre Rubin just comes down with it and takes it into the end zone. And that was a huge play for Orlando early in this ball game.
Good play by White. Good play by Rubin. That kind of set the tone for things, and Orlando has gone on to this huge advantage. Now Eaton able to complete the pass to Jimmy Frizzell. And the clock is going to keep moving as they'll stop it at 51 seconds now. Now it's winding again.
And that's what Orlando wants. They just want the clock to keep moving, and that's why Frizzell didn't get out of bounds. He caught the ball and allowed himself to be touched in bounds, because now the clock continues to run, and Kansas City's not going to stop it.
Yep. Play clock is at 11, so they can still eat up another 10 seconds or so here. And they're not going to do that. So Price has got it, stays in bounds. And with the win here tonight, Orlando goes to 10-5, and they wrap up the South. So congratulations to the Orlando Predators. Kansas City drops to 3-12 on the year with one game remaining. And there is the little celebration as Jay Gruden doused with the water bucket.
That's always a good dousing, a good feeling.
And that does it as Jay Gruden and his Predators, they win going away here tonight. An impressive win for Orlando. Congratulations to the Predators, and good luck to them as they go on into the playoffs. Rubin, one of those guys that set the tone early. Joe Hamilton, he had a terrific game, and the defense played very, very well.
The defense did play very well, and they were overshadowed, I think, a little bit by the offense, but defensively they came out and put on a tremendous performance. And like you said, offensively, Joe Hamilton did a great job, very efficient, and got this offense going from the first series on.
So again, Orlando able to win going away, and with it they win the South, and that means they also get a first-round bye in the playoffs, plus they get to host the quarterfinal game once those playoffs begin. For Jayce Pearson and Danny Boatwright and our entire crew here in Kansas City, Dave Armstrong saying so long from Kemper Arena, where Orlando wins, beating the Kansas City Brigade 63-42. Good night, everyone.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
All over St. Louis, people are fed up with ugly, dark algae roof stains. Frederick's Roof Restore system removes those ugly roof stains with one Roof Restore treatment.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Like the sound of my voice, rates fluctuate. And fees, I think we can all agree on fees. But service is the lifeline of any business. Does your financial institution provide competitive rates, minimal fees, and most importantly, exceptional service? If not, Vantage is a full-service financial institution featuring free checking, online banking, mortgage and investment services, and much more. For more information, call or visit any of our 11 area locations or log on to our website.
Pride Fighting Championships, only on FSN. The world's baddest men. The fiercest battles. Featuring the world's most dangerous men, Ken Shamrock. What a tremendous battle! Minotauro Rodrigo Nogueira. And middleweight champion, Vanderlei Silva. Brace yourself for an event like no other. The Pride Fighting Championships, May 14th on FSN.
Come on, buddy. Let's go.
Dad, did you ever do drugs?
Yeah, I did, and it was a dumb thing to do. But no one ever talked to me about it. My dad never talked to me about it.
Talking to your kids about drugs can be tough. Need help? Get help. Visit our website at drugfree.org.
Yankees, Red Sox.
The single biggest rivalry in professional sports.
These two teams don't like each other.
I think we've upgraded from a battle to a war.
86 years of domination.
A lot of people remember where they were, and of course the Red Sox fans hate me.
The biggest comeback of all time.
They literally had nothing to lose.
And he can keep on running to New York.
And the hatred lives on. Red Sox, Yankees. The ultimate rivalry, Monday only on FSN.
That home run has been played so many times.
It's 7-15.
His eyes were closed. A dark day for me.
It's as if it was scripted.
If it stays fair, home run.
Knocked my socks off.
What an accomplishment.
Out of here.
It was a great baseball game. Of course he would do that.
Yeah! Number 70.
Just a matter of time. Nothing feels better than that.
He hits 800-foot home runs.
He did it? He did it?
I can't stand Billy Crystal. Bucky Dent.
Hello and welcome to the Sports List. I'm Summer Sanders. Tonight, we are flexing our pipes, dialing long distance, and going big fly as we count down the top 10 home runs of all time. When it takes you over 600 at-bats to hit your first Major League home run, baseball wisdom says you'll never hit for power. But kicking off our list is a guy who spent his entire career defying baseball wisdom. At number 10, it's Kirby Puckett.
There was this little round guy that played for the Twins
with a tremendous set of shoulders and thighs.
I like to see a guy with a lot of ass and thigh when they hustle, because it makes that noise.
Game 6 of the '91 World Series. The heavily favored Atlanta Braves are on the verge of closing out the Twins. Then a hero emerges.
He corks into left center and chased by Puckett. He caught it.
Tied 3-3 in the 11th inning, it was Puckett's turn to write history.
Lee Brent's on the mound. He's sweating and trying to get by Puckett. And here's Kirby, just look as confident as can be.
Into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
But watching him run around those bases was like watching Danny DeVito play baseball, you know?
The Twins would prevail in a classic Game 7, giving Puckett his second ring.
Kirby Puckett really proved himself to be a champ.
The heart of a lion, in the size of a mouse.
The vertical pinstripes are usually more slimming than they were on Kirby. Sure, the Red Sox blew a 14-game lead in 1978, but they were on the verge of winning their 9th straight to close out a comeback of their own when this next guy went deep and became an FCC violation waiting to happen. At number 9, it's Bucky Bleepin' Dent.
The Red Sox lead at 2-0 here at Fenway.
I'm married to a Red Sox fan, so in our house, we never say Bucky Dent without his middle name. Bucky effin' Dent.
Bucky Dent.
Bucky Dent.
Bucky Dent. That guy killed Boston. By the All-Star break, the Yankees were like 13 or 14 or 15 games out of first place.
The Yankees come back to force a one-game playoff. So they're down 2-0. They're in the 7th inning.
Deep to left. Yastrzemski will not get it. Home run!
As if the air was completely taken out of the Red Sox at that point.
If you look closely at it and you freeze frame it, his eyes were closed and he was wearing a prayer shawl.
Well, the last guy on the ball club you'd expect to hit a home run. Jessup went into the screen.
Here was a guy who was a very, very average, routine journeyman ball player. It was that home run that basically gave Bucky Dent a life.
Well, listen, the Red Sox are James. The Red Sox, gave Babe Ruth away for a ping pong table and a malted milk and a hooker.
Thanks for bringing it up. I've had years of therapy to get over that. I blocked it out. Do you have a bucket I can vomit into?
A dark day for me, Bucky effin' Dent.
Bucky is part of a proud Yankee tradition of hitting historic home runs against the Red Sox. The prospect of someone breaking the Babe's single-season home run record was so incomprehensible that when it finally happened, Commissioner Ford Frick lost his frickin' mind and slapped an asterisk on it. At number 8, it's Roger Maris.
There it is. Number 60.
In 1961, Yankee teammates Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle were both on pace to dethrone the single-season home run record held by Babe Ruth.
Roger Maris in New York, you know? He had a really tough time. I mean, the poor guy went through hell. Breaking the record, I mean, I don't think anybody wanted to see it broken.
They all wanted Mickey Mantle to break it. By then, he was twitchy, his hair falling out. It was not fun to watch.
Maris connects, and it's a high-arching drive to right field.
I love Maris, mostly because everybody booed Maris and loved Mantle.
I think it's more impressive that he was able to do it with all the pressure put on him. And it's the last day of the season, too. That's amazing.
Here's the windup. Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow,
I remember running out into my yard and yelling out, "He did it! He did it! He did it!"
I wasn't born yet, but I appreciated it later and then learned to hate it when I found out that Billy Crystal made that movie about it, because I can't stand Billy Crystal waxing poetic about baseball.
That was a legitimate home run by a legitimate man. And you know what? He deserves everything he's got.
I like that, the innocence of that. And then, of course, you see Maris begrudgingly. I love that he's begrudging, coming out of the dugout to tip his hat.
The best way to avoid the dreaded asterisks, of course, is to simply obliterate the home run record. With that in mind, we go back to the summer of '98 when the sports list returns.
Braves reliever Rick Camp, a career .074 hitter, hit the only home run of his career with 2 outs and 2 strikes to tie a marathon game with the Mets in the 18th inning. Camp would give up 5 runs to lose the game in the 19th inning.
Pride Fighting Championships, only on FSN. The world's baddest men. The fiercest battles. Featuring the world's most dangerous men, Ken Shamrock. What a tremendous battle! Minotauro Rodrigo Nogueira. And middleweight champion, Vanderlei Silva. Brace yourself for an event like no other. The Pride Fighting Championships, May 14th on FSN.
Welcome back to the sports list, where we are locking in on the top 10 home runs of all time. Mark McGwire was known for his mammoth 500-foot home runs, but it was a little line drive that pushed Big Mac past Roger Maris into the record book and onto our list at number 7.
Number 70!
Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa captured the nation's attention as they chased Roger Maris's home run record.
I think that competition was incredible because not only did people from other sports start following baseball, but I think people who are not even interested in sports started following that competition.
The kind of year Mark McGwire was having, the kind of swing that he had, it was just a matter of time.
You know, whether you're an athlete or an actor, you get on a run, nothing feels better than that.
Tied with Maris at 61, Mark McGwire took his place in history against, of all people, Sammy Sosa and the Cubs.
Down the left field line, is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62!
He hits 800-foot home runs. He's hitting, parking lots. This ball barely gets over the fence. And he forgets to touch first base.
And it didn't even go into the seats. It went into like some holding area where the beer trucks parked or something, and some dude just sort of stumbled upon it and gave it back like a moron.
And then he picked up his kid like Fred Flintstone would have.
It's so exciting to watch him. Again, as a baseball fan, to watch this classy, guy, this hulk of a man, just hit the ball out of the park like he did.
You know, my boyfriend tried to skip first base, too. Shame on you. It may only be the number 6 home run of all time, but it ended the greatest World Series game ever played. With his 12th inning drive off the fair pole, it's Carlton Fisk.
And Fisk will lead it off, has a single and has walked twice.
The 1975 World Series between the Cincinnati Reds and the Boston Red Sox was considered one of the best in baseball history.
That, to me, was the quintessential World Series of my generation.
It was a great baseball game. It was just fun. It was like a great heavyweight bout.
With the game tied going into the bottom of the 12th inning, Carlton Fisk led off for Boston.
There it goes, a long drive. If it stays fair, home run.
Go, yeah! He was waving it, I was waving it.
there was two Haitians in the outfield shaking a chicken over a voodoo baseball to keep it in and kid it out.
That's such a human reaction. I mean, of course he would do that. He wants it to go fair.
Well, if I would have been the pitcher in that situation, I would have been doing that too, trying to get it to go the other way.
Red Sox win it 7-6 in 12 innings.
Boston fans were actually willing the ball to be a home run. I think they contributed to the ball's course of action.
We will have a 7th game in this 1975 World Series.
People forget it didn't end the World Series. It only ended Game 6. Had that been a Game 7, that would have been the greatest home run of all time.
If Fisk had been able to wave Tony Perez's home run foul in Game 7, the Red Sox might have actually won a World Series. It's every American boy's dream to hit a home run that lifts his team from behind to the championship, only the boy probably doesn't dream of doing it in Canada. At number 5, it's Joe Carter.
I guess it's every kid's dream to hit a home run and win the World Series.
3 days after blowing Game 4, Wild Thing was summoned to protect a one-run 9th-inning lead in Game 6.
Mitch Williams, he was struggling. Everyone knows that, and he had a rough series, and, you know, it caught up to him.
And he'll give the ball to Mitch Williams.
Living up to his reputation, Williams allowed 2 of the first 3 batters to reach base.
So the tying run is at second. The run that would win the World Series is at first, and Joe Carter is the batter.
In the 80s and 90s, maybe Joe Carter is one of the most underrated players.
Now the 2-2. Well hit down the left field line. Way back and
Hit a walk-off home run to win the World Series. It doesn't get any bigger than that.
When a professional grown man, you know, leaps like a kid, you know, it's pretty amazing.
You hit a home run to win the World Series. Never complain about anything again, Joe Carter.
I guess another way to look at this list is the top 10 gopher balls of all time. So, the 4 greatest gopher balls when we come back on the Sports List.
I don't want to give you mine, oh no. I don't want to meet you nowhere, no. I don't want none of your time. I don't want no scrub. Scrub is taking no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's side, trying to holler at me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's side.
We are getting down to crunch time here on the Sports List as we close in on the single greatest homer in baseball history. Breaking the all-time home run record would be tough enough without a bunch of racist jerks making threats on your life. But one man was able to overcome all that player hating and pass the babe. At number 4, it's the Hammer, Hank Aaron.
And this crowd is roaring in Atlanta Stadium.
Hank Aaron's 715th home run. What an accomplishment.
A proud African-American breaking, you know, Babe Ruth's record in a young country which, you know, didn't have a black player until 1947.
A, no one thought that the record would ever be broken, and B, no one ever wanted it to be broken. So that, you know, when Hank was on this run to get the home run title out of Babe Ruth's hands, people got very nervous.
You had people telling you and threatening you if you did succeed, you know, simply because they didn't want to see this sacred record fall into the hands of a black man.
Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15.
You took the icon of Babe Ruth and said an African American could have the longevity, the power, and the force to break such a phenomenal record. That was a seminal change in baseball.
A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
Every great act that takes on political importance or socioeconomic importance is viewed in retrospective a little bit differently.
And I just thank God it's all over with. Thank you very much.
I think we'll never know how much pressure he felt going through that, and that should count as 2 records.
Bill Buckner has 2 memorable moments in his career, a ball going over his head and a ball going through his legs. That's cold. It was one small swing for man, one giant blow for mankind. The Yankees were in the midst of winning 10 World Series in 16 years when Bill Mazeroski said, enough already with the number 3 home run of all time.
What's the greatest? Is it Joe Carter? No. Kirk Gibson? No. Bill Mazeroski? Oh, there you go.
Mantle rockets a tremendous drive to right center field.
They were outscored 55-27.
3 more runs cross the plate.
They lost, you know, the blowouts, but they won the close games. And it gets to this last Game 7.
Tied at 9, light-hitting second baseman Bill Mazeroski led off the bottom of the 9th for Pittsburgh.
Because he didn't hit any home runs his whole career.
The Bucks' first batter was Bill Mazeroski.
Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep to left, but they do it. Back to the wall goes Barrett. Over the fence, home run, the Pirates win.
You lose because some career 260 second baseman who might weigh 165 pounds soaking wet hits a ball over the fence at Forbes Field.
The stadium's gone, Forbes Field is gone, but the plaque where the ball landed still exists.
You go to Pittsburgh to this day and mention Bill Mazeroski, and they'll buy you an Iron City beer in the bar.
We're heading to the bottom of the 9th when the Sports List returns with the 2 greatest home runs of all time.
Yankees shortstop Derek Jeter hit a fly ball to right field when Yankee fan Jeffrey Mayer reached out and brought the ball over the wall. The Yankees won in extra innings and went on to win their first World Series in 18 years.
It's television's most prestigious fishing tournament, FLW Outdoors, where top anglers compete for the right to be crowned world champion. Sundays on FSN.
You're watching FSN Midwest, where Cardinals fans come first.
Welcome back to the Sports List, where we are about to reveal the top 2 home runs of all time. But first, let's take another look at Taters 10 through 3.
Into deep left center. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Bucky Dent. That guy killed Boston.
I think it's more impressive that he was able to do it with all the pressure put on him. And at the last day of the season, too.
Kind of year Mark McGwire was having, the kind of swing that he had, it was just a matter of time.
Carlton Fisk has that great home run where he's wishing the ball fair. You hit a home run to win the World Series. Never complain about anything again. Joe Carter.
Proud African-American breaking, Babe Ruth's record.
Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep to left as they do it. Over the fence, home run, the Pirates win.
Their stadiums were mere miles apart, but the home run that ended the 1951 3-game playoff between the New York Giants and Brooklyn Dodgers was heard around the world. At number 2, it's Bobby Thompson.
In 1951, the Brooklyn Dodgers blew a 13.5-game lead over the rival New York Giants to force a regular season playoff.
They not only blew it, they blew it over 6 weeks.
The Giants got unbelievably hot. At one point in that stretch, they won 13 games in a row.
Leading 4-2 with 2 men on in the bottom of the 9th, the Dodgers put in relief pitcher Ralph Branca to face Bobby Thompson, who had homered off Branca earlier in the series.
I think what makes it so famous was the call. You always hear the Giants win the pennant, the Giants win the pennant. The call was probably the most famous thing about it.
Sportscasters everywhere should be thrilled that a sportscaster can become immortal for nothing more than saying the Giants win the pennant.
That home run has been played so many times. The good thing about that was the picture in the paper the next day, Ralph Branca crying on the steps.
He handled it great, Ralph Branca. But it was one of the worst moments in Brooklyn Dodger history.
Giants win the pennant. And the great thing about that is that back in those days, baseball was played in black and white. It's amazing.
So Ralph Branca and Ralph Terry may be 2 of the best Ralphs to ever pitch in the majors, but they're not exactly Hall of Famers, which is what makes our number 1 home run so impressive. It not only won a World Series game, it came off the greatest relief pitcher in baseball history. It's Kirk Gibson.
Drives this one to deep center field.
In Game 1 of the 1988 World Series, the powerful Oakland A's were expected to dominate the shorthanded Los Angeles Dodgers, but the heart of the Dodgers wouldn't let that happen.
Kirk Gibson, I mean, he was the MVP of that 88 season.
Down by 1 in the bottom of the 9th with a man on base, the Dodgers turned to their battered MVP.
Gibson, their heart and soul, their wounded warrior. He couldn't walk. His knees were gone.
All year long, they look to him to light the fire. until he was physically unable to start tonight.
It's as if it was scripted in a movie, and the guy can't even walk. He can't even move. If he hits the ball, he's got no chance at all of even getting on base.
Fouled away.
With that coming out of the bullpen, it was pretty much a done deal, money in the bank.
Eckersley hadn't given up a home run. I don't think he had maybe 2 the whole year.
So Gibby literally hobbles up to the plate.
Fouled away again. 0-2 to Gibson.
Just throw him another strike and let's go home. This is done. And then all of a sudden...
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is gonna be a home run. I don't believe what I just saw.
You could see him on cloud 9 as he's rounded first base. And when he went into the fist pump, he said that was so exhilarating.
Words can't describe what I was feeling right there. There's certainly a lot of joy and a lot of reward right there. It's just, gosh, you guys had to get it out. Eck was like, he just had a look like, it was just, I can't even describe the look on his face when he came in. It was a blank look, like, you know, he was just blank.
I absolutely knocked my socks off. You know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I was.
That loss really hurt. That one was, how could we let that one get away?
I think it knocked them down. I mean, that was a game that they thought that they had.
We jabbed them. We kept jabbing them and jabbing them, and we knocked them out.
This was the poem, Casey at the bat. And this time Casey hits a home run. And the Mudville 9-1, and we were excited.
That has got to be the best kind of pain relief out there. So there you have it, our top 10 home runs of all time. For the Sports List, I'm Summer Sanders.